There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better, and kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit them online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com, or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors, LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC, annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network, LLC.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. Waking up every day, lifting him from the bed to the wheelchair to the car to get him to therapy on time, it's no small task between the doctors and the diagnosis, but nothing can disable this love. This is my big brother, my hero. He's part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. See, there's no time for tired. This starts again tomorrow. He'll be waiting for me. I wake up for him. I know he needs me. But I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 877-333-5885. Caregiving Resource Center. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
What are you talking about?
No, it's not him. There is only one more. There is only one
More! That's it! One more! Get a rest! No!
They saw your team put up zero effort.
Wake up! Remember in the old days they used to have oxygen for them. Where's the oxygen?
Play like absolute just garbage.
This is the Sports Loudmouths.
Yay!
Man, can you keep it down? I'm trying to introduce here. With Errol Marks, Speedy Petey, and Tyler Harrison.
You're not even a has-been. You're a never was. You're a never was. You're a never was. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys know, this is the Sports Loudmouth. I am your host, Big Easy, the big man, Errol Marks, and on the board, as always, Speedy, the reported man, Petey, and then always Tyler, front man, Mothball Harrison.
There it goes.
Remember, you can listen to our show every single Wednesdays and Thursdays. I almost said Tuesdays because, Taco Tuesdays. I had tacos tonight, so I thought it was Taco Tuesdays. But it's Wednesdays, and what are you talking about over
You would be a day behind.
I am a day behind. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in my life.
I know.
Maybe it's the bald head that's just not shining at me. I don't know what it is. But did you take a shower today?
I did.
So why isn't it shining at me? A little brown, man.
That's what happens when hair is grown.
Well, you don't have grown hair. I could see your, slowly but surely, your forehead is just shrinking.
You mean growing?
No, shrinking.
My forehead is growing if I'm losing hair.
That doesn't mean that. Well, Speedy, what does it mean? Forehead growing or shrinking? I don't know.
We know you don't know. That's what I'm trying to
That's why I'm trying to help you here. Anyways, as you guys know, you can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Again, you can call us at 631-672-3108. Go to our app on iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. At 9:30, we'll be talking to NHL.com Deputy Managing Editor Adam Kimelman. We'll talk a little hockey with him, talk about how bad the Islanders are playing, and maybe you should be smiling how good your Rangers are playing right now.
There is a small defect to the Rangers right now, but that's fine.
Oh, there is no defect right now. They're playing good hockey, and you should not be complaining.
No,
that's a Ranger fan, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's a valid complaint.
Oh, God.
They don't know how to close out games.
Well, obviously, they'll learn how to do that. It's still early in the season.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a big complaint, though.
At 10 o'clock, we'll be talking to Jets Insider Editor-in-Chief, second beat writer, Chris Nimbley. Mr. Nimbley. Jack be nimble.
Well,
Jack
we
be
certainly
quick.
know the Jets haven't
Jack
been
jump
nimble now.
over your candlestick. What?
What?
What are
I
you
said the
talking
Jets
about
haven't
over
been
there?
nimble, have they?
You're an idiot.
So now if you just randomly say Jack, it'll be more fitting.
All you do is what you want to do every time you come on this show is to bust my bubbles in one way or another. If it's not about going after the Jets, it's going after the Islanders.
I don't have to go after the Islanders. They just look. First of all,
what?
I
What are you going to say now? I can't wait.
We agree on the Yankees.
I'm scared of you just by the way you speak, okay? And I'm not talking about fear you. I'm scared of you of what's going to come out of your mouth, and foolish garbage comes out of your mouth. So let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I said we agree on the Yankees.
No, we don't.
We're both Yankee fans.
Yes, but we don't agree on the Yankees.
Well, one of us wants to win, and one of us just wants to
hold on one second. I don't know about winning you know anything about.
What do you
weren't
mean?
even alive when the Yankees were winning.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes,
I mean, I'm talking about winning championships. The Yankees have been a winning organization for the last 25 years.
And I'm 30.
Yeah, well, exactly. So you were 5 when the Yankees are actually winning championships. Anyways, I want to get off the topic. Yeah, we'll get into. We have a lot to talk about. By the way, at 10 o'clock, we'll have our special guest. We'll get into all the NFL Week 10 crazy stuff happening in football. And by the way, Odell Beckham looked horrible. So I can't wait. I know it's one game, but he didn't look good. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Neither did the Browns.
2 days.
By the way, Woods is out for the season, which is a crazy story to come out. All of a sudden, Odell Beckham gets traded and Woods is hurt.
Think about that, though. Imagine they didn't sign him and that happened.
Maybe there's something more to it that we didn't know. Anyways, it's crazy. But we'll get into all that. We'll get into the Knicks. Obviously, the Brooklyn Nets getting really beat down by the Golden State Warriors. We'll talk about that. We're also going to get into this crazy story with the Islanders. And we were talking about it. There's really no story right now. We're going to make it a story. That the Islanders have not played a home game in the first 14 games in the season. And how does this affect the Islanders season? I think it might affect them not for the good for the Islander fan, that's for sure. So we'll get into that a little bit later, a lot more. But before we get into sports and our guests, a complete tragedy happened in my family this week on Sunday. And I lost a nephew, a beautiful 3.5-month baby that came into this world very, very young and has left it even quicker. And it's been really, really hard. I want to give a shout out to all the people that reached out to me and my family and people that have been so sincere about everything that's gone on. And it's hard because, when you try to entertain people and whatever you call this, I mean, we love sports and we love media and we love to entertain people, either being funny or just being, just one of the guys. And when something like this happens, it's a tragedy. And not only for my family, other people that know my family, that respect my family. And Messiah was 3.5 months of the younger. And he never really got a chance to see life or enjoy life. And it's a complete tragedy. I don't want to get into the details of what happened. It's just unbelievably sad. And when things like this happen, you stick together with family, your friends stick together with you. And even people that are complete strangers reached out to me that knows me on social media, that just follows me for the sake of following me, telling me how much they feel bad and hope the best for my family. And it Snug says R.I.P. Josiah. It's Messiah. So we've lost a lot. Just when you lose a person or somebody young or anybody in your family, it takes a lot out of you. And I didn't know what to say, and a lot of people thought I wasn't going to do the show this week. One of my friends who listens to the show religiously on our stream tells me, I understand if you're not going to do the show this week. And I decided to do the shows this week because it takes my mind off of the crazy stuff that's going on in my life or anybody's life. So many deaths in this world, and a little boy who, is so innocent and is gone. And it's terrible. And I feel bad for my sister, her boyfriend, my family, and seeing them and how much they hurt, and they're trying to keep their minds, going, because it's just hard when you lose a child. I don't know I don't even know what it's like to have a child. Then again, to lose one. So it's horrible. It really is horrible.
That's tough, man. I'm very sorry for your
Yeah,
loss.
it's just
and sending condolences to your whole family. So
it was very, very hard. The funeral was hard. It's just
the funeral happened already?
Yeah. In my sister's faith, they usually put him within 24 to 48 hours. So
Ben also says his condolences as well.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. You don't realize how important life is until it's gone, and for something like this, and anybody that knows or has lost a loved one in the last couple of years for COVID-19 and all the other stuff, cancer and heart attacks, and this kid was a 3.5-month-old healthy kid, and it's terrible. It's a terrible story. It was so hard Sunday when I got the call from my sister, and I ran to Queens and tried to be there for her. And it's horrible. It's horrible. And I don't wish this upon anybody. I don't wish this is why life is so important. And I think people forget how important life is until it's gone. And for my sister who lost a son, 4-month-old son, and my sister's boyfriend, Tone, and just everything. I wish them the best. I wish them, my niece too, who took it hard. She lost a father a couple of years ago, and she lost my father as a grandfather. such a short time of her life. She's 18 years old, and now she lost a brother. So it's horrible. Messiah, may he rest in peace. So that's what I wanted to say. So thank you for all the people that reached out to me and really gave me all the good feelings that, it shows me how much you guys care and the love and compassion that you guys have. So thank you very much for being there for me and for my family. Before we get Adam Kimelman on our show, which will probably be in the next 15 minutes, right? 9:30? 9:30, we'll have Adam Kimelman on the show. Obviously, NHL.com, deputy and managing editor. So we'll have him on the show. So that'll be interesting. We'll get into what's going on in the NHL, his thoughts to some of the arguments we have with what's going on early in the season. Tell us a little bit of what he does for the NHL. So looking forward to getting him on. I want to get into a little football, and as we will have the Jets, and we'll have the Jets insider, editor-in-chief, beat writer coming on the show. So that'll be very interesting because we'll get into Jets football with him because that'll be all Jets with him. So we'll get into what's going on in the NFL this week, and with everything that's gone on, and in the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing a lot of freakish things happen. We really have. Kansas City. Who would have thought that Kansas City would right now, I think, what are they in fourth place right now in their division? Or they're
no, they just moved into first.
Oh, they're in first.
They are now first. Yeah,
really? Are they in first place?
Yes,
in
they
that
are.
Division?
Yeah, 6-4. The Raiders are 5-4.
That just shows you how bad that division is, right?
Yeah, they really fell apart. The Chargers and Raiders are both 5-4.
I didn't even look at that.
The Broncos are 5-5. The Chiefs are now 6-4.
That's crazy. I can't believe a 6-4 team right now in that division is in first place. By the way, Los Angeles has not played well the last couple of weeks. Los Angeles Chargers. And we'll get into the Rams too, because we're talking about the AFC and we're talking about Kansas City. And that's what I really wanted to get into, because they won a game that they needed to win this past week. I look at Kansas City. Do I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win a Super Bowl this year? They can get to full strength. I just think there's a tier that they fall in. I think they're a tier 2 team. They're not a tier 1 team anymore. Their defense is horrible. They're not going to be now. Maybe this defense finds something or finds. We've seen bad defensive teams go into the playoffs and actually play well. Okay, had a really bad season. I don't think this team's going to figure that out. I really don't.
They got the right coordinator.
Who? Spagnuolo? Mr.
Blitzing
Queen? I mean, seriously.
He's done this before.
Dancing Queen.
Oh, God.
We'll call him Spagnola Queen, okay? Because
Doug's favorite song.
Is it really his favorite song?
No, he just kept mentioning it all of last year for whatever reason.
I will say this. Kansas City is not the team to beat in that division, even though they're right now in first place. I think if the Chargers can squeak in and maybe Justin Herbert finds his way back to prominence, because I think this year has been back and forth with Justin Herbert. You look at him, he looks unbelievable, looks wonderful. And then the next game you're saying, well, why did he throw that ball? I mean, why did he put it there? And I don't want to hear it's the Chargers emblem. They start off strong and they die off. That I don't believe that. I think the fact is right now,
growing pains.
This is a growing pains. First of all, you have a new coach, a rookie coach. I think is going to be really, really good in this league. I think he's going to be a fantastic head coach.
It's definitely better than Lynn.
Well, obviously that's not saying much. He also comes from at last year was the best defense in all of football. He was actually the defensive coordinator for it. So that benefits
1 year too.
Yeah, that benefits them very, very, and benefits him very, very much. But I look at the way this team and this way this division is lined up. I don't know who the better team is in this division. And that makes the playoffs even more interesting on the AFC and how close these teams are together. Look, there's how many 5-4 teams or 5-5 teams right now?
There's a lot.
Right, AFC
now
North,
in the
there's
AFC.
so many of them too.
The whole division's 5-4.
The Steelers 5-3-1 with the tie now. The Bengals 5-4.
Cleveland's 5-5. I mean,
yeah.
it's crazy. There's so many 5-5, 5-4 teams, and that shows you that Indianapolis can make the playoffs this year. Crazy to say that, but because how weak and with that extra game, how it could benefit some of these teams in their schedules, it's really ridiculous.
Kind of the opposite of baseball, where every team was like had their big streak. Nobody's had a big streak.
That's what throws me off when you watch football, because usually every single year in the AFC, you know who's going to make the playoffs, you know who's going to be the dangerous team. And in the NFC, you know who's going to be the dangerous team, you know who's going to make the playoffs. This year, there is no predominant. I know everybody's going to say, well, Tampa hasn't looked good for the last 2 weeks.
No, they haven't.
Okay,
they'll get right Monday.
That's
they'll
fine.
get right.
That's
on Monday
fine.
night.
It's still they're playing the Giants.
They'll
played them close last
the
year.
Giants played them very well last year and put a lot of pressure on them. But I look at the NFC too. There isn't a predominant team that really stands out to me that says that team is the most dangerous team. I mean, look, the Cowboys are 7-2. They have the second best record in all of football. Okay, they do. The Cowboys,
They do.
the Dallas Cowboys in
Even
Week 9.
They look bleh at times too.
Their defense does.
Every team's looked blah at times.
Well, no, I mean they look like they are not. Forget 7-2. They look like they're not even 500.
I think a lot of teams have been like that.
Well, right. So now here's real quick. I think Kansas City's the team to beat in the AFC.
Who?
Kansas City. They will be the team to beat.
No.
The Bills will beat them, I think. But until somebody does it, they're the team to beat in the AFC.
Remember this team if they play them, and I'm going to tell you guys again. I think Baltimore will be the team to knock them off. I really
That's
do.
my pick
I don't know.
I think
There's
I'm
trouble
not
in paradise.
trusting Lamar. I'm not Lamar Jackson.
There's trouble in
But
paradise.
I don't know about that. I think
he got sent home today.
that's fine. They'll
No,
be
it's
fine.
not.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I trust me. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to hear stories all year. He's hurt. He's fighting.
No, well, he.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
What do you think it is?
I think him and Harbaugh are starting to enter that coach quarterback thing of, well, when are you going to start emerging as that guy? And I think Lamar's going to say, well, when are you going to realize that you need to stop having a playbook like this?
Snugger says the Raiders were frauds. Neither LA team has looked good the last 3
The
weeks.
Raiders are not frauds. I mean, the Raiders have had a horrible season off the field.
Lamar left the field because of illness. It said illness, illness.
Okay,
And it's
all right,
nothing
okay.
of he's fighting with Jim Harbaugh. 7 hours
they're gonna say
ago.
illness.
And listen, I listened to Speedy last week on how old Correa is at 31, and I was completely. I didn't look at his age, and I screwed up thinking that Correa was 31 years old, 31 years old when he was really 26, 27. And somebody wrote to me on one of the videos that Speedy put out, and I was like, why did I listen to him? I should have just looked it up because I trust Speedy that he knows the answer to it. It's just sometimes, maybe he was thinking somebody else.
I was thinking Altuve.
I don't know. But
I'm not even surprised Altuve is that old.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Snug says, no, the Chiefs defense is a liability. You can win on so many shootouts. Jeff says Patriots are quietly body bagging everybody in the AFC.
No,
Snug
that's
says
true,
ABBA
too.
is back together. The dancing queen lives forever. Jeff says Matt Judon ended Baker Mayfield. Snug says Matt Judon for Defensive Player of the Year. And Jeff says, and this season has
me
been
and Jeff
great.
were the ones that picked the Patriots to win. I knew the Patriots were going to win that game.
Jeff says this season has been great. We even had a Rex
I think
Ryan,
all
have
of
a
us picked the
Rex
Patriots.
Ryan, Robert
No.
Salafield. No, I picked the Browns.
You picked the Browns
I
too.
picked the Browns.
No, I
You
didn't.
picked. Yeah, you
No,
did.
No,
not.
Tyler didn't pick the Browns. Only
No,
me.
I said
Look
the
that
Patriots-
up.
the
I'm
Patriots
pretty
are gonna
sure.
blow them out 'cause there's
No, I
Nick
was the only
Chubb.
one who picked the Browns. I remember that.
There's no Nick Chubb. There was no Odell. The Patriots are going to manhandle.
Speaking of Jeff, we have him for the next, I guess, 5-7 minutes.
All right, Jeff, what's going on, bud?
This show is a fraud. You guys are talking Chargers, Ravens, Bills. Dude, Patriots hottest team.
Hold on 1 second. You didn't even let me get to that. You just had to cut me off. I wasn't even done yet. And you just come right in and you take my thunder. Thank you, Jeff, for ruining my flow. Thank you very much. I was about to talk. Listen, I was about to talk about the Patriots, but you cut me off.
Into it.
I'm gonna get into it. Goodbye. Goodbye. You can call up later. I have a lot to talk to you about. You can call in later. Goodbye.
Frauds.
Just shut him off, please. Jesus. Now, I until I was rudely interrupted, because I was rudely interrupted, I wanted to get into the AFC East, which we were just talking about Baltimore, and we were talking about Cincinnati. How everybody thought they were going to be the best team. A lot of people before they played the Jets, they were the best team in the AFC. Slowly, in the last 3.5 weeks, I say 1.5 because it was a half where the Patriots figured things out and started playing well. In the last 3.5 weeks, the Patriots have been one of the best teams in all of the NFL. I mean, that front seven, and I've been talking about the front seven more than the secondary, and the secondary has played better in the last 2 weeks. But their front seven is causing a lot of havoc for quarterbacks. Quarterbacks cannot move inside and out of the pocket. When they step into the pocket, they're getting hit by Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon is slowly but surely looking like the best player pickup in the offseason. They spent a lot of money The Patriots opened up their pockets. But out of all the pocket money that they spent it on, they got some good players. Some players have been playing well, the money that they've invested into. But the guy that's really stood out is Matthew Judon, who's
I don't know who else you can argue, though.
I mean, if you look at that, look at the offseason. Well, hold on one second. Their wide receiver. Who's their wide receiver that's catching the ball?
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, I think it was Bourne.
Yeah, Bourne's played very well.
Aguilar
Well, they signed Aguilar
too.
too, but
Henry,
Aguilar's been okay,
Juju
but Bourne has been the one that's standing out recently for them. And then Hunter Henry's actually been pretty durable this year, which is rare.
Yeah, they're getting
he's splitting time.
Well, again, the Patriots, their defense has been rocking. And that's what's really been controlling the line of scrimmage.
Duger's emerged as a top-end defensive back.
I mean, they're really, really good. And right now, they're right now. I wouldn't use body bagging, but they're killing practically the opposition that they've played against. So we'll see. I mean, the Patriots' schedule gets a little bit harder in the second half. So this is where we're going to get to really know who the Patriots
They
are.
get a really late bye. I think it's like week 14.
Yeah, they have that this year with the extra game.
That's huge for them because Belichick in the second half, I guess third, fourth of the season, is going to be able to get these guys healthy and ready to go. That's scary. The only problem is the Bills are going to get white hot.
Doug says the Pats need at least an hour of talk, and I would like to get Kenny's take. Hunter Henry's been good on offense.
Actually, here's this. Listen to this. I thought it was getting harder. I think it gets easier.
They still got Jacksonville.
All right, so they got Atlanta next week. That's
Thursday.
a win.
Yep.
That's a win, I think, unless Atlanta comes out strong and the Patriots.
The Dolphins beat the Ravens, so anything's possible.
Tennessee, there's no guarantees because they don't have Derrick Henry. Buffalo Bills, they played well. They've played well against Buffalo. Indianapolis, they should beat. Then they play Buffalo again. The Jacksonville, Miami, Washington, Philadelphia, the Giants. That could be win, 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 win. And they can end the season with 11 wins.
One of those games just because of
one.
I predict the Pats win 11 games this year.
Yeah, that would be them losing one game. So he's agreeing with you in that case.
They're going to win 11 games this year. And
yes,
they're going to
Jacksonville has played better. But
they're going to get into the playoffs. What happened?
Mac Jones will win Rookie of the Year.
Offensively, who else?
You go 11.
No,
and
Jamar
7.
Chase.
Jamar Chase.
You go 11-7 as a quarterback in the NFL. You're going to win.
It's hard to argue Jamar Chase.
But you're also playing in a Patriot offense that honestly, he's throwing 198 yards. Yes, he's throwing touchdowns. They're short passes. It's not weird.
But it's methodical passes.
Yeah,
it's not like he's.
Yeah, but nobody's going to listen. He could have 30 touchdowns.
Check downing.
He could have 30 touchdowns. It's because of the Patriot offense and Bill Belichick's offense. The reason why he's not throwing 300 yards every single game. He started last week. It was 198 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Okay. He wasn't methodical. I mean, you tell the guy that throw a 7-8 yard pass to get somebody's going to be open, and you have guys running the same routes. I mean, it does make it easier in a Bill Belichick offense. Okay, so listen, I'm not taking shots away. He's not winning Offensive Player of the Year. They'll give it to Jamar Chase. They're going to give it to a high-flying guy that could have 10 touchdowns this year. That's what they're going to give
Jamar
to.
Chase, if he doesn't get hurt, is a lock.
If he has 4,000 yards or 3,800 yards this year, that's different. He's not going to have anywhere close to that. No, he's not.
No, he might be a finalist, but he's not going to, unless Jamar Chase gets hurt. Nobody's taking it from him
He's
right
having
now.
close to 2,500 yards as is.
But again,
there's half the season left, so I would put him around 4.
Jeff says it was 198 yards, but he didn't play in the fourth quarter and get the padded stats like Dak. Stuck says he doesn't need to throw 300 yards. They've been running the ball.
And that's what I'm saying, because that's why he's not going to win Rookie of the Year.
That was a blowout. I don't think the Patriots.
I'm telling you what's going to happen. They're not going to give it to him. But
Jamar Chase would have to get hurt for him not to get it.
And even if he gets hurt, if Jamar Chase has like 10 touchdowns and he has over 1,000 yards and he missed like 3 or 4 games,
he's going to get 1,000 yards. He's going to probably get 1,000 yards this week.
Yeah, that's why he's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And the Bengals have to make the play. I want to see the Bengals make the playoffs. They have to make the playoffs.
But the Patriots are going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Right, but
it has a
I
lot
don't know.
to do with their defense just as much as their offense.
I don't know if you could hold.
And they're running the ball very. Yes, it is.
I don't know if you could. I don't know if you could hold the Bengals missing the playoffs by a little bit against Jamar Chase, though, for Rookie of the Year.
Maybe a little bit.
All right. All right. I'm not going to go back and forth with this. We'll get into more football when we come back from our guests. We have 2 guests back to back, but we're going to get right into football right after our first guest because we're going to get the Jets Insider editor. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking to NHL.com Deputy Managing Editor Adam Kimelman here on the Sports Loudmouths.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Cold Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
Turn into a diamond. Turn into a diamond. I turn into a diamond.
So special.
I turn into a diamond when they put me under pressure. When it's too much fun to in my blood, that means I'm stressing. But thank God for the blessings. Now I see the signs, I could put them in perspective. I used to run 100 deep, thought the love was deep. Realized it's just one of me, fuck it, I'm unique. But thank God for the blessings. Now I see the signs, I could put them in perspective. I turn into a diamond when they put me under pressure. When it's too much fun to in my blood, that means I'm stressing. But thank God for the blessings. Now I see the signs, I
are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sports Loudmouths. Remember, you can listen to our show and call us every single day at 631-672-3108. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. You can also download our app by going to iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I wanted to play that track. It's called Diamond, and it was from my sister's boyfriend. He actually made that track. It's called Diamond. It's a great track, and we're going to play more of that song throughout our show, throughout our commercials. But it's a great track, and I'll tell you how you can download it on obviously iCloud and all the different promotional ways to download music. So anyways, we have our special guest. We've been waiting to get him on. Actually, Speedy actually told me he got him in the hook. So we're very excited about this. We are now talking to NHL.com Deputy Managing Editor Adam Kimelman. What's going on, Adam? Well, you sound like a robot right now over there.
Who is kind of tuned in. It's an interesting
We got
show.
Luke Skywalker over here. Adam, I think you're going to need to go
Yeah,
back
you need
in.
to go out and back in.
You sound like Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. Luke, I am your father.
Yeah, a hybrid of all of C-3PO, R2-D2. You just mix them all in. Yeah, that's what
We'll get you on again.
Just go out and back in the same link, Adam.
Well, we lost Adam for a second, but that's what happens. Your system does it. Our system. How many times have we lost the sound of our mics? You know what I mean?
Never sounded like a robot though.
That was cool, actually. That kind of scared the hell out of me. That scare you?
Somebody was talking just now.
No, it was just a robot.
It was Adam Kimelman. So
Adam, just go out and back in
Your
on
Darth Vader
the
thing was
feed.
pretty much on point.
No, it sounded.
I have a throbbing headache now.
Why? Was it that bad?
No, it's loud. It was very loud.
It sounded like a robot, like R2-D2. And actually, it sounded like, what was that movie called? That robot movie in the
Next
80s.
of Kin.
No, the
Short
robot.
Circuit.
Short Circuit.
I love that movie.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a short circus.
Number 5 is come alive.
That's right.
Man,
Number
you're a
5
short
is
circuit,
coming
all
alive.
right.
What, you
Where
don't
are
like
your hands?
You don't like.
Put your hands back on the table.
You didn't like Short Circuit. Tell me you've
All
never
right.
seen Short Circuit.
All right, Adam. Let's see if it works this time.
All right, let's see. How's that sound? A little bit better now?
That's right, Adam.
Adam, you heard us in the feed. We were comparing you to number 5 from Short Circuit.
Well, you know what? I'm old enough to get that reference, so I don't mind it too much.
Why do you keep it?
So am I, Adam. I'm 39 years old and getting older by the day.
Well, if you're a Benjamin Button disease, you tell me the secret sauce.
Well, I don't have Benjamin Button disease, but I actually have my whole hair, Adam. So that's a good thing. I mean, my co-host over here, he's 28 years old. He's losing.
I'm
his hair.
29.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I actually complimented you. You took the compliment away.
No, it's a backhanded insult, is what it is. So you can take your hair joke and shove it where the sun doesn't shine. It's all right, because I have revenge coming your way whenever I'm actually allowed to ask this guy a question. So it's okay.
All right.
How are you, Adam?
I'm doing good. It's listen, I got a little few years and a few less hairs than some of you guys do, so I feel all your pain.
Thank you. But you don't have to deal with him on a daily basis. I do. So you don't feel my pain.
Well, that's a good thing, because if you feel his pain, you'll be losing your hair by the day, not by the minute.
I'm out of here.
Anyways, Adam, tell the fans a little bit about what you do for NHL.com and really how you got into writing and all that other stuff that you do.
Well, it's interesting. This is my 20th year covering the Philadelphia Flyers, both for the NHL and for the newspaper I worked at previously, the Trenton Times. But this is I started when I got to college in 1993, so I'm that old. But yeah, it's just writing about sports was something that really came easily and interesting, easy to me, because sports is something always I was interested in. Hockey just became my thing, just sort of through a happy accident, where we had a minor league team in Trenton when I was working at the newspaper there, the Trenton Titans of the East Coast Hockey League, and the writer there left to take a job at ESPN, and I offered to do that job, and that's the one I thought I would do, minor league hockey. I was fine with it, and the sports there said, we're going to give that to somebody else, but would you like to do the Flyers? And I said, well, if you're going to force me to go to the NHL, I guess I will go directly to the NHL, and that was 2002, so I've been doing hockey pretty much nonstop since then.
Oh, that's a great story, and you really, everything it had to fall in the right position for you to get where you are today. And to me, when you talk about stories and really how people move on in their careers, you always have something crazy that you can add to the story, and you're like, wow, that's some part of the story. I mean, I could tell you a story too. This is how I got in, you know what I mean, into the business. So it's a very unique story. So Adam, now let's get into some NHL conversation because obviously you're right for the Philadelphia Flyers. So why don't we go into the Philadelphia Flyers right now that are playing, I would say they're playing decent hockey. I mean, last year, their goaltending, a lot of people thought Hart was going to be one of the best goalies in the NHL. And then just really right in front of our eyes just fell apart. He really turned out to, at one point they sent him down to the AHL, I think, and they brought him back up. So you're talking about a guy that was a star goaltender the last second half of the season the year before, and then all of a sudden fell off as a goalie. So what are your thoughts right now of Hart and what this defense has done in the offseason?
Well, I think with Carter, I know some people sort of lost a little faith in him when he struggled. Carter's a guy I've seen going back to even before the Flyers drafted him when he was playing for Everett in the Western League and in the World Juniors. And I remember, he's a starting goalie for Canada in the World Juniors in Toronto, I believe it was. There could not have been a more high pressure situation to put a 17-year-old goalie in than that situation. And he loses the game in the shootout. U.S. wins the gold medal. And I asked him how long that stayed with him. And he said, about a day or two. And I really didn't believe him until the more I got to know Carter, the more I said, oh, he's not just saying that. He turned the page that quick because as athletic and as skilled as he is one of the more mentally tough players I've ever been around. Nothing really phases him. Good games or bad games. And that's kind of the art to being a goalie, is maintaining that even keel. And he's really, really good at a very young age doing that. And look, last season was bad for a lot of reasons on a lot of levels. And Carter was one of the reasons the Flyers were not good last year. But I really always believe that with a normal offseason of work, having a long summer to get his game where it needed to be, I really didn't expect anything other than the way Carter is playing now. I'm not surprised. I knew he would be really good. I believe he will be a very, very good goalie, probably top 10 goalie in the league at some point during his NHL career.
So they had a busy offseason, the Flyers, one of the busiest in the NHL. They get Cam Atkinson in a trade for Jakub Voracek. They got two defensive pieces in Ryan Ellis and a guy Tyler and I both wanted in Rasmus Ristolainen. We wanted for the Rangers. He goes to the Flyers from Buffalo. So what are your impressions of the way those guys have played so far?
Well, I'd like to see all of those guys sort of in the lineup at the same time. We've only gotten 3 games of Ryan Ellis, so we're probably not going to see him for at least another 2 or 3 weeks as he gets past whatever nagging lower body injury he's had really since training camp that he's tried to play through, but, probably will be best served by taking some real significant time off, letting whatever the issue is heal. I've asked Alain Vigneault on Tuesday if surgery is an option for whatever the injury is, and they don't believe so. They believe it's just rehab and rest, and he'll get back to being the guy that he is. But look, I think Ristolainen, I've been a big Ristolainen fan for a long time. I think he's a guy that at 19, 20, 21 minutes a night, he's a really good player. I think what happened in Buffalo is he got exposed by playing too many minutes in too difficult a situation. And at 25, 26 minutes a night against the best players in the league, you see the cracks in the foundation. The Flyers are good enough now with Provorov and Justin Braun now on that top pair to kind of allow him to play on that second pair with Sanheim and really, focus in on what he can do really well. That's be physical, kill penalties, be a big, nasty body. And you saw it if you watched the game last night against Calgary. That's what they needed, and he was involved. Anytime there's a scrum in front of the net, he was shifting bodies around to places that allowed Carter Hart to be successful, and he's a loud player. That's what what I would call Rasmus Ristolainen. He's a loud player because you can hear him banging bodies when he's on the ice.
Like Speedy said, I'm very upset that he went to Flyers. Speaking of Flyers, it kind of starts with Claude Giroux. He's going into a contract here in the offseason, and the Flyers are on this brink of going very young. They have a bunch of young talent coming up. What are the chances Claude Giroux ends his career in orange and black?
I kind of have been back and forth on this where I don't know. I really, I found it odd when he came out during training camp and said, we're going to table this discussion until the end of the season. He's your captain. He's going to be your second leading scorer before the end of the season in franchise history. He's going to pass Bill Barber. I believe he's within 25 or 30 points of passing Billy Barber for number 2. So he's going to be your second leading scorer of all time. He's played more games as a captain than anybody else in franchise history. The only thing they haven't done is win a cup with him. So, he's accomplished just about everything you can possibly accomplish with the Flyers if he chose to leave. I definitely think he wants to continue playing. I don't think he's had enough. Whether that state remains in Philadelphia, it's really going to be an interesting question. I don't know. I think it's really a 50-50 toss-up if he stays or if he moves on after the season.
We are talking to NHL.com deputy managing editor Adam Kimelman. Now, Adam, we look at the Metropolitan Division, and in the beginning of the season, Carolina really took off, and really nobody's really caught them. And they're playing very good hockey. They're getting good goaltending. Everybody was questioning the goaltending change in the offseason, trading him all the way to Detroit. It made absolutely no sense. But Carolina's getting good goaltending. Their defense is playing well. They're fighting and playing on running on all cylinders. They've been great. But the two teams that really have stood out to me so far in the Metropolitan Division in this short season, because there's only 15, 16 games, so anything could happen, are the Rangers and the New Jersey Devils, two teams that have played very, very well. Very surprised, and my team, the Islanders, that have not played well, they haven't had a home game. We'll get into them in just a little while. What are your thoughts to what the Rangers are doing with Gallant running the helms behind the nets, and obviously what the New York Rangers are doing defensively as a team this year?
Well, I'm a big Shesterkin fan. I had, when I went down to make my season predictions, I had the Rangers as a playoff team. So the fact that they're having success and they are where they are in the standings, I'm not necessarily surprised. I think they got a great coach. I really think Gallant is a very, very good coach. You look at what he's done. Look at his track record in Florida, in Vegas. I really didn't think he'd have any issues finding success in New York. I was curious how all the new pieces would gel with Gaudreau and Reeves, and could Adam Fox have another season like he had last season where he was Norris, the Norris Trophy winner, but he's been as good, if not better. You see what Zibanejad has done, and Panarin really hasn't played Panarin style yet, and they are still where they are in the standings. So, yeah, I think the Rangers are really set up for some significant success, and if they can get him going, if they can get Lafreniere going, I know Kakko scored a goal the other night. He's a guy that they certainly could get going and give them some more depth scoring. But the Rangers being where they are, not really a surprise to me. And with New Jersey, losing Jack Hughes is a huge hit for them. He was just kind of blossoming into the player that everyone assumed he's going to end up being when they drafted him number one back in, I think it was 2018, excuse me. Once he gets healthy and he's able to get his legs going back under again, I love what they did with bringing in Dougie Hamilton and Ryan Graves, who I think is a really good player, really good, defensive complement to what they have with Dougie Hamilton there. And you look at their group of 6 defensemen. PK Subban isn't the PK Subban he was a couple of years ago, but you use him in a third pair in a power play role, he could still be a very useful player for them. So, I think what they're building in New Jersey is really good. And you've seen what they've got out of Dawson Mercer. Alexander Holtz is still, yet to kind of establish himself as an NHL player, but I think he's going to be really good. I think if I'm a hockey fan in the New York metropolitan area between the Devils and the Rangers, and I think the Islanders are going to get better at some point. I don't think they are, the team that they've shown to be so far, but I'd be really happy with all three of those teams going the right direction.
So this season has been a tale of two different players for the Rangers with the top 2 picks. We've seen Alexei Lafreniere really take a big step like he did in the second half of last season. And Kaapo Kakko, he finally is on a nice little goal streak, but still has had his issues this year. So what do you think the ultimate ceiling will end up being for both these players, both statistically speaking, and also maybe even the roles on the team? Could you see Lafreniere be a center eventually? Could you see Kakko get in the top 6 if he stays hot? And if Kakko doesn't, is this a make or break year for him?
Well, I think with Lafreniere, I think what's always stood out to me, and this goes back to watching him in his draft year at World Juniors, he thinks the game so well. He doesn't have the dominant physical skills. He's a big, strong guy, and he's getting bigger and he's getting stronger, but he doesn't have the dominant physical skills. What he has is an innate sense that you can't coach, you can't teach, that he just has to be in the right place at the right time. And look, he's still not even 20 years, maybe he's just 20. So there's a lot of growth room for him. And I think you could say the same for Kakko. I think he's had a little bit of a tougher sled just because, where he's coming from, playing in Finland for so many years. He's still got to get used to the North American ice. And we got to remember, these guys have really, in Kakko's case, he's played, one 82-game season? Lafreniere still hasn't played one yet. So you want to kind of get these guys into a, quote, normal situation. And we're still not there yet. We're close. But at least give these guys one full 82-game season before we decide what kind of players they are. But I think both those guys, the ceiling for Lafreniere, I think, could be a little bit higher. I think he could be a top-line winger. Kakko, listen, if he's a second-line forward for you and a guy who can chip in on the power play, I think you're really happy with that.
Now, obviously, we're going to stick in the Eastern Conference here. So the Florida Panthers, when the season started, they were the best team in hockey. I don't think anyone on the planet was going to touch them the way they were going. Obviously, the Kyle Beach story came out. They lost Quillville as their coach, and they've slowly started to show a lot of cracks in the armor since then. Are they going to go back to being a dominant team, or do you think that the coaching staff had a lot to do with it?
They're a dominant team.
Well,
they are still a dominant team, but they don't look nearly as good as they did 2 weeks ago.
They're 11-2.
I think more so. I think more so for the Panthers, it's how long is Alexander Barkov going to be out? He got banged up the other night. I think it was a lower body or a knee injury. They think it's just going to be a couple of weeks, no surgery needed, and maybe he's not out too long. But there's not an element of the game that guy doesn't do incredibly well in all three zones, offensively, defensively, face-offs. He's the first guy over the bench on the power play. He's the first guy over the bench on the penalty kill. Up a goal, down a goal, first minute, last minute of a game. You take that guy out of your lineup, you're going to most likely struggle in some form or fashion. So how do they rally with him out? That, to me, is more so the coaching change did have an effect, absolutely, because you could see Joel Quenneville's imprint on that team, getting them to where they needed to be. I think Andrew Brunette is certainly capable of continuing that growth, continuing what they had there under Quenneville. But to me, it's what happens now with Barkov out. That division is very competitive. Toronto looks like they're getting hot. Tampa Bay is still Tampa Bay. Boston probably has a run in them. They've won 2 in a row. How can they hold off the teams that are going to start nipping at their heels now as they smell a little blood in the water with Barkov out?
I'm watching. By the way, I'm watching this Knick game, and Cole Anthony said something to RJ Barrett. You saw that he didn't like what he said. He smiled at him, said something you could read his lips, and then he walked up and gave him a pound, but not a really happy pound of what he said. I don't want to say it on live air, but it
continuing a little
really
Duke
good.
North Carolina rivalry.
It didn't look really good,
even though they didn't play against each other.
Anyways, we are talking to NHL.com deputy managing editor Adam Kimelman. Now, Adam, a couple more questions for me and us, and first of all, I would like to get into a lot of questions with you, but we just are short for time. We were just talking about the Islanders, okay? And it bothers me, and we will get into the Islanders that have really bothered me so far this year, and Boston, another team that I thought is still believe. I know it's early in the season. I think both teams are going to be fairly competitive teams all the way to the end. The Islanders, what really bothers me is how could the Islanders agree? I understand their stadium's not opening up, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show because I think the Islanders really put them in a situation where they're going to start the season really chasing these teams. And you don't want to chase in the NHL because when you fall behind like 10, 12, 13 points, the Islanders have done it before, but it's a significant haul to catch those teams. This team hasn't had a home game. Also, really, for the first three and a half weeks of the season. They're not going to be playing a home game until next week, which will be 4 weeks into the season where they didn't have a chance to play a home game. Do you think this has affected the Islanders game and the play of this team because they had to travel so much so early in the season?
Yeah, I mean, look, you start 13 games on the road. You're in and out of hotels. You're in and out of airports. You don't get a chance to – I know they got a couple of days in between where they got to go home in the middle of it, but those are 2 really, really long, hard road trips. And when they get in, it's a strange building. It's going to be almost like another road trip when they open up UBS Arena because they haven't really skated there yet. They haven't played there yet. So there's still going to be some time to get used to the new building. I think it's going to be great. I've seen pictures of it. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to get out there and catch a game there. But I just, and you're right. It is going to be difficult for them to make up that ground, right? I think it could be worse. 13 game road trips. They still came out with 12 points. Not ideal, less than 500. However, I think there are some good things. I think getting home, getting a few days off here, getting ready for Saturday night and getting Saturday night and the opening behind them, just so they can move in and be like a normal season, I think is going to be good for them. And look, I will never doubt a Barry Trotz coach team run by Lou Lamoriello. Are they more built for the playoffs than for an 82-game regular season? For sure. Am I going to say, well, they're done, they're not going to get in? I won't say that now. There's too much hockey to be played, too many smart people there, too many good players. Look, losing Ryan Pulock doesn't help them. They're going to have to, figure out some ways to get some better play out of some defensemen there. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's time for Sebastian Aho to step up. Maybe it's time for Noah Dobson to show why he was the 12th player picked in the draft. He already has a little bit. Maybe it's time for him to get a bigger bite with Pulock out. But I think there's a lot more to come from the Islanders.
So another, speaking of new ice, Jack Eichel getting traded to the Vegas Golden Knights. He's not going to be playing for a while following the neck surgery that he's going to be having. So do you think this is the best that Buffalo could have gotten for them at that point? Or do you think they sold short on Eichel? And what do you think? Does this make Vegas the favorite in the whole NHL?
Well, just to answer your last question first, I think that was the one thing they're lacking. When Vegas is fully healthy, that's the one thing they didn't have. They didn't have that legit number one centerman. And I know William Karlsson scored 40 goals a few years ago in their first year, and that was great. But, he's not a number one centerman. Jack Eichel is, when healthy, a top 10, top 15 player in the league and an absolute franchise number one center. And when he gets healthy, the thought of Stone, Eichel, Pacioretty as Vegas' top line must make every Golden Knights fan in the world just drooling with anticipation. It's going to be another few months before we get there, but they got to get some other guys healthy too. They got to get Stone back in the lineup. They got to get Pacioretty back in the lineup. They got to get Karlsson back in the lineup. And I think there might be one or two other guys I'm missing because they are pretty beat up right now, and they're just sort of treading water in that Pacific Division, trying not to let too many teams get away from them. But I think once Eichel gets in and gets his legs under him, I think that they have a chance to be an incredibly dynamic team. And was that trade the best Buffalo could get for them? I mean, look, Alex Tuch is a guy with 20 to 30 goal potential. Peyton Krebs, already showed in the flashes of being a top end player when he was in Vegas between, going up and down between the NHL and the Western Hockey League. He's going to eventually get a full-time spot and a prominent spot in Buffalo when they feel like he's ready. He's gone down to the American League and he's played very well there. And you got a couple of draft picks. So you got some help for the present. You got some help for the future. And more than anything else, no one in Buffalo is asking about what's going to happen to Jack Eichel anymore. You removed that question from the equation. And I hate to call it addition by subtraction, but just from that point of view, just from those guys not having to hear on a daily basis what's going to happen when Jack gets healthy, I think that's going to help that Buffalo team immensely.
So we'll talk about, since we're talking about Buffalo rebuilding basically with the trade of Jack Eichel, the Pittsburgh Penguins have been kind of teetering on this rebuild. What do they do? Crosby's time as a prominent player is at its end or beginning to be at its end, depending on how long he wants to play. Is Pittsburgh going to blow this thing up this offseason or during the season?
Well, I don't see them blowing anything up at any point. I think, think so. The impetus has always been, at least from everything I've heard on the outside, is to, sign Malkin, sign Crosby, sign Letang, keep that group together. They're still, look, Crosby's had about the worst luck you can possibly have. He has the wrist surgery, thinking he'll finally solve this problem that he had, thinking he'd miss 3 or 4 games at the beginning of the season. It became 8 games, plays 1, then he gets COVID, then he's out another 10 days. So, he just must be chomping at the bit just to get back on the ice. Malkin, is starting to skate. He's starting to ramp up a little bit. It's going to be another probably 3 weeks before we see him back in the lineup. And Letang, when healthy, I still think is a top 10 defenseman in the league. So everything sort of goes off those guys. And yes, I understand they're 30 plus and it's a league where everybody's getting younger and faster, and those guys are getting older and probably a little bit slower. But again, much like we talked about with the Islanders, I'm never going to doubt a Sidney Crosby team. I've seen Sid play in a lot of different situations over a lot of years. I still think he can be a top-line guy, top player in the league, and I think he is still more than capable of dragging that Pittsburgh Penguins team into the playoff contention. I don't know if they're a Stanley Cup team, but can they get in? Absolutely.
Adam, I'd like to thank you for joining us. Tell the fans how they can find you on social media, and we'd love to get you on again to talk hockey. Especially, I didn't realize how much you know about the full NHL. I know you're a writer mainly for Philadelphia, but you have so much that you could give to our fans, our hockey fans, some of the information that they probably are now going to definitely follow you, obviously, because you're very very good and really gives us in-depth analysis of what's going on in the NHL. So thank you. Tell the fans how they can find you.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at NHL Adam K, and I also have a podcast where we cover, myself and Mike Morial, my colleague at NHL.com, we cover the draft, NHL Draft Class. That's available, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts from. But yeah, and all my stories pop up on NHL.com, and I'm pretty good with answering questions. Anybody asks me on Twitter, it's at NHL Adam K. So yeah, anybody who wants to send me a question or look me up on there, that's the best place to find me.
Adam, thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. I'll have Speedy reach out to you again, probably in the next couple of weeks, and we'll set you up another show because we'd love to talk more hockey with you.
Sounds good, guys. Anytime. Thanks for having me on.
We were just talking to NHL.com Deputy Managing Editor Adam Kimelman, really, really nice guy. So much take. I knew he's a Philadelphia guy. I read a little bit about him, but his thought of what's going on in the league and some of the positions that some of these teams are, he said it straight out. Very surprised, but he's right. A Barry Trotz run team, you can't count out the Islanders. I don't expect the Islanders. As soon as they start playing home games, I think they'll pick it. I think it's just going to
anyone count out the Islanders.
I think I did because I'm thinking about it because they do have the home games, but it still worries me that they're still playing an away game at home because they still don't know the ice over there. It just got built. They haven't even stepped on the ice, and they're going to be walking on the ice like every other team. So it's going to take a little while for that to be home field or home ice advantage and see how loud it's going to be with the fans there. I heard it's going to be very echoey, but we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have another special guest, and this is going to be fun for me, okay? Because I am a Jet fan. And
I think you might ask all the questions.
It might be a lot with me, okay? So
it should be, rightfully so.
We are going to be talking to Jets Insider Editor-in-Chief, second beat writer, Chris Nimbley, joining us here on the Sports Loudmouths.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value, market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC, annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
You know, we were just at break. Speedy's rushing, and I'm talking about something for next week. And he puts on the beat. And now all of a sudden he's taking charge. We'll figure that one out. Maybe he grew a set of balls or something. Anyways, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sports Loudmouths. I'm your host, Errol Marks. My two co-hosts on the board, Speedy No Balls, Petey, and Tyler Mothball Harrison.
I don't have balls. I have nothing.
I don't know what he has now. He's growing something, but maybe he's lost. I don't know. Anyways, I've been when Speedy told me before the show that we were going to get this guy on. For a second I had a panic attack, and then I realized, oh, why not? Let's talk Jets football, because I got a lot to say about the Jets, and I'm not lost in what I have to say. So, as you guys know, we are talking to Jets insider editor-in-chief, second beat writer, Chris Nimbley. What's going on, Chris?
Not much. How's it going, guys?
Yeah. How's it going? Well, it's going interesting, and I'm sure all the fans are going to love this interview because they can't stand the Jets. And but I am a Jet fan. Everybody that knows me here, I am a Jet fan. I'm a realist. I'm a realist Jet fan. So I don't hold back on what I think the Jets are or what they look like. So before we get into the New York Jets, tell us a little bit about you. How'd you get this job? And I guess you're a full-time worker as a beat writer now.
Yeah, well, I've actually been covering this team for over a decade now. I started Rex's second year, so the second year of the back-to-back AFC championship runs was my first year there. I got the job interning out of college, and my boss just hired me full-time. I now actually own the website now. I've fully taken it over, but I've been covering the Jets for over a decade. Like I said, I had that first year of the AFC championship run, like, hey, this is kind of cool. And it's been all downhill since then. It's and you're a Jets fan, so you know this. That it's been tricky the last couple of years covering this team, because it's not just that they've been bad for a decade plus, but they've been bad in pretty much the exact same way. This year they're throwing a little wrinkle, because they've always been the one thing they've always been really good at is defending the run. And now they're worse than the league in the run. So it's a new twist, but it's still, it gets repetitive talking about the Jets over these last few years.
It's a new twist, but a bad twist. Okay,
yes,
it's twisting the wrong way. And so let's get into the twist of this Jet team. Couple of weeks ago, a guy steps onto a field, and we're not talking about Zach Wilson. He gets hurt, so they put this guy in, Mike White. Before the season started, everybody was like, who's the backup quarterback? They should have brought a veteran in to help this kid. They bring in Mike White. They're like, who the hell is White? Get him off the team. This guy shouldn't have even made the roster. He throws 400 and some odd yards in his first game, threw 37 for 45, threw 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's the next thing since Joe Montana, or whoever you want to call him. I don't even know. You name the quarterback. That's who they were comparing him to. So now all of a sudden, this week, Cubs, he has a bad game. And who's starting the game this week? Joe Flacco, old man Joe. So please explain to me what is going on with this team and why all of a sudden they decided, you know what, Mike White wasn't the second thing. He might not even be on the team next week. We're going to put Flacco in. So please explain to me what the hell is going on here.
All right, so I'll start here at training camp. They're not going with any type of Joe Flacco, any type of veteran backup, because they wanted to just give Zach Wilson all the reps. If they wanted him to start the season and prepared, and if you're going to go that route, it is smart to give him all the first team reps. If Joe Flacco is there, somebody else is there, they're going to have to get some of those reps. With Mike White, and they had James Morgan at the time, nobody was clamoring for those guys to get first team reps. None of us in the media was clamoring. The fans weren't clamoring. We were all like, okay, they're going Zach Wilson. They're doing that. Now, obviously, Zach Wilson gets hurt, and they're in a little bit of a pinch because they haven't even they've been playing roster tricks.
A little bit of a pinch? Is that what we call it now? A little pinch.
Right. Well, that was the danger in the plan. That was the problem with their plan. It's one thing, because I agree with the concept of wanting to give Wilson as many reps as possible, of course, but and especially in today's NFL, like, not many quarterbacks make it through a season without getting banged up.
Mhm.
And you don't necessarily need a quarterback that can win as much a backup that's going to win you a bunch of games, because that's really hard to find in the NFL. But you need to find a quarterback that can at least run the offense and you can evaluate the rest of the players. That has to be a baseline. And this is also, Mike White has been with the team for 2 years, and I have seen absolutely nothing that will give me any indication that he can even run an offense efficiently. Like that game against the Bengals, I think everyone's forgetting that they're still the Bengals. I mean, they went and yes, the defense is playing better. I'm not believing them. All those plays, yeah, it was a statistical highlight. He went, since Vinny Testaverde, no one's thrown for that many yards. He did it by throwing the ball 3 yards in the air, little dump offs, running. And then once, the Bills said, hey, we're going to force you, we're going to take that away and force you to throw the ball downfield. And he threw 4 interceptions, and it could have been 8 interceptions. It really could have been 8 interceptions. So as soon as a team takes away those dump offs and those underneath, Mike White has nothing for you.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Do you remember what Troy Aikman said with Joe Buck before the game? How he made Mike White seem like he was the second coming to Jesus Christ? I mean, seriously. I listened to, oh my God, he's played so well. If he plays into the game, there's no telling you what this game could be, how big the scoreboard would be. He could put up a 30 tonight. I listened to Troy Aikman. I thought he was talking about Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or somebody like that. He's talking about Mike White. I was like, what the hell?
Come on, Mike White used to play for the Cowboys. Of course he has
What's
to like him.
going on here?
He's actually obligated. He was once on the Cowboys. I mean, you just described the reason why I watch most NFL games on mute. I really don't need to be hearing stuff that's out there, because I'm not one that likes to sit here and just be like, watch the tape. I know fans have busy lives. It's hard to sit down and watch the tape. But if you coming out of nowhere, no one's like, who's Mike White? Oh my God, he's throwing for 400 yards. I get getting caught up in the hype and being like, wait, this kid might be really good. But when you actually watch and it's just dump offs to Michael Carter all day, it gets a lot less impressive. And again, I've watched him 2 years in training camp. I've seen nothing to give me any indication.
What are these fans seeing? I mean, I'm just like, I'm a little lost. I mean, anybody that watches,
normally a little lost.
I'm normally a little lost, but I'm even more lost when I was listening to the fans and some of the stuff that was going on out here in New York. Oh my God, there were people putting Mike White tattoos on their body.
No.
You want me to show you some of the pictures?
I don't want to. No, I don't.
I've seen a guy put it on his forearm. I saw somebody put it on his leg. Jet symbol with the number, what was it, 5? I think he wears.
Yeah.
5 white on the bottom.
Sanchez fever all over.
I mean, Sanchez took the Jets to 2 AFC title games.
Yeah.
At least he did something.
To get another man on another man's tattoo.
I mean,
now in Sanchez's
who the
defense, it
hell
was
is
just Rex
Mike
Ryan
White?
who got the tattoo.
It was so funny. I couldn't stop. I have to start laughing. So, what are your? I'm going to let them ask the questions after this. But what are your thoughts so far with Zach Wilson? I mean, he will be back probably. I wouldn't say next week. I think it's if the Jets were smart, I wouldn't bring him back until week 14, week 15. Let him play 3 games, 2 games. Don't put him in harm's way because this season's a loss. I thought it was a loss after they lost Carl Lawson. Okay. Once Carl Lawson was out and I was reading all the stories. Oh, he looks like a beast on the field. Oh, he's going to be unstoppable in this defense. As soon as they lost him, and then we heard the Vinny Curry situation. He's out. He has this sickness that nobody would have thought he played healthy his whole career. And all of a sudden he's a blood sickness that he can't even play football again. I mean, figure that one out. Shout out to Vinny Curry and his family, by the way. But I mean, the Jets have had no luck, and some people call it Jet syndrome because once you become a Jet, you have the syndrome, and you just fall apart. And this 50-year-old, whoa, I want to see this team win. Who is Zach Wilson? Do you believe, honestly, that this is the guy of the future. Finally, did the Jets get it right?
All right. So he wasn't at the top of my list as with this draft and quarterbacks, but watching in training camp, and it was up and down training camp. He had his struggles at times, but he looked good at times. Normal for a rookie quarterback to do. But he did a couple things that I really liked. I really liked the way he moved around in the pocket. He had a good feel in camp, even though they don't, they're not really hitting. He still had a good feel, moved around. I liked the way he threw with placement. Like he would, throw low and outside if he needed to. There was lots of little things that I was really impressed with as a rookie. I'm like, you seem to be a little ahead of the curve on this. Now, so as training camp was going on, I was becoming more sold on him. The season, obviously, it hasn't been great. And the only thing that's really been kind of alarming to me is his inability on these short throws.
Mm-hmm. That's what I say all the time, yeah.
Yeah, because rookie getting confused by a Bill Belichick defense. Okay, I think we can all understand that. I think we can all understand watching a rookie force something downfield and it not going right. That's understandable. You can understand throwing a pass to Corey Davis and bouncing off his hands and going for an interception. No problem. Yeah, little screens and dump offs. The Mike White passes that I was just talking about, when you can't complete those, that's alarming. Now it's just the yips. Is something he's got to get over?
Yes,
he obviously has to get over it, because you can't continue that, especially in an offense like this that's going to rely on that. I don't think that's going to continue to be a problem. So I do still think there's a chance here. This has obviously been a really bad first year. I think his arm talent is incredible.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and that's he is gonna have to figure out a balance of being, trying to go for the big play and taking what's there, but not. You still need to be aggressive. You don't want to completely coach that out of him. So he has to find a balance there.
Best arm talent in this draft. I really did believe it when I saw it, and I get to see him throw at the combine, and just watching what he could do inside and out and make his throws. Like we all know what the other quarterbacks have, but there's just something about his, like the velocity of his throws coming out of his hands, kind of like Josh Allen-esque. The velocity, it's like I heard what's his name again? Sanders was on the field at practice, and somebody told me the story that he threw the ball and it whooshed. One of the guests whooshed right past Sanders' head. He looked at him like he was like Superman. He never realized how hard a ball can come outside the back of the field. So
at least he didn't pull off a Christian Hackenberg and hit a reporter.
So he was that's true too. Christian Hackenberg. Another winner for the Jets, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think that this kid has something special. I hope this is the right coaching staff that's going to develop that special ability that he might have.
So, okay, Chris, you're going to say something?
I was just going to say, yeah, obviously, there was a lot of questions about LaFleur at the beginning. You've seen the Mike White game, the Josh Johnson game, that this offense can work when it's executed properly. Obviously, there also at the beginning of the season, he was down on the sidelines, which they kind of made an audible there because they had Greg Knapp as the passing game coordinator, who unfortunately died in a tragic bike accident right before training camp. So they ended up keeping LaFleur on the sidelines because that's what Zach Wilson was more comfortable with. Now they've hired John Beck to come in as the quarterback coach, so he can be there and LaFleur can be upstairs. And I think that makes a difference, because to me, in my opinion, offense, any coordinator, you have to call the game from upstairs. You have to be able to see the whole field and watch plays develop as they, go.
Mm-hmm. By the way, before I get to my question, big fan of the gorilla headphones painting in the background.
Oh, thank you.
Very unique. So
you wanted to say that to him.
What?
Why does he go before me?
But compliment his beard while you're at it. So my question's completely gone.
Okay. Fine, you can compliment his beard. All right, so
get your own material.
They think the same way.
so in terms of the actual management of this Zach Wilson situation right now, obviously we announced that Flacco is starting this week. Now, how would you approach in terms of the balance between development? You want to see him play to develop, to read defenses, to learn the offense, and just the balance of having him not re-injure the PCL and the shoulder injury that he got hit up high by Lawrence Guy in the Patriots game. How do you balance that out? Do you play him out the rest of the season when he is healthy? Do you play him maybe only a certain amount of games? Do you hold off on him, maybe only play him in one game or something like that? What do you think is the best approach for the Jets to take when he does get healthy?
Yeah, I think obviously number one, you start with just wait until he gets 100% healthy. This is a lost season. It's another Jet season. There's no need to bring him back or try to compete for anything like that. So he has to be 100% healthy. If he's 100% healthy at this point, let him play. I want to see him play, get the live reps, and learn from it. Obviously, you're going to have a similar situation. Mekhi Becton coming back from his fractured kneecap. It's probably best to sit him, but when he gets back, it's going to be a couple games left in the season. But there's enough in the season left for Zach Wilson to learn on the job with like actual experience, learning on the go, trying to figure these defenses out, give him a leg up to be ready heading into next season. And a lot of this season was really going to be, and it was always going to be this, the season's about taking their lumps. You're going to have some good moments and not, but on defense, they're designed to take their lumps this year and hopefully get better going forward.
You want to compliment his beard now, or do you want
No, I'll let you do that.
Oh, hell of a beard, man.
Thank you.
Very,
Thank you
very happy
much.
that somebody can grow hair on this network. Very, very good. So obviously we're all talking about Zach Wilson. The best way to help compliment a young quarterback is to get him weapons on the outside. They try to address that with Corey Davis. Whether you think he's a 1 or a 2, it's a start. Very rarely does a wide receiver of Odell Beckham Jr.'s caliber become free in the middle of the season.
It will be this coming season. Off season, he'll be a free agent. So there you go.
Calm down. Calm over there. Calm down over there. Were the Jets interested at all? Do you want them to go get Odell Beckham Jr.? Where do you think Odell? Obviously, we know Odell's passed in New York. Do you see Odell coming back in that hideous green and white jersey, or what?
Yeah, no, I don't see that happening. It would be quite funny and to see it play out. Also, just to see the Giants fans' reaction to that. Either way, especially, but it would for Jets fans to get him to come and then be good to watch Giants fans freak out. That would be an interesting sight to see. But the Jets had no interest in him, especially, it doesn't make sense for them at this point. They're not going to sign him to a long-term deal. And obviously they're not competing this year. He wouldn't have wanted to come here either. He had better options, clearly. So he's choosing between the Rams and Packers. Like he's got better options there. Long-term, they're definitely going to look to add more talent there. They drafted Elijah Moore. He's really coming along these last couple games. He's looking really good. But they're going to add more firepower for sure. I think that Joe Douglas is, if somebody has a reputation, I'm not somebody who's, Odell's the problem with the world. And like a lot of other NFL media.
No one's fairly scrutinized. I don't get why.
I don't get you brought up Troy Aikman before. Troy Aikman said that the Rams lost because of Odell. Like,
he's a moron.
I agree with him.
On Friday.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, they say, right? Okay.
He just got there on Friday. Yeah, he just got there. So I think he played 15 snaps. But Joe Douglas isn't really looking for anybody that is even perceived to be any type of locker room problem. That's something that he's generally tried to stay away from.
See? So, by the way, we are talking to Jets insider editor-in-chief, second beat writer, Chris Nimbley. So, Chris, this Denzel Mims thing has been the most annoying conversation I can have with any Jet fan. I don't understand why they treat this kid the way they do. I understand that supposedly he was sick all summer long with losing weight and had what did he have?
Salmon.
Yes, some kind of food poisoning, whatever the hell they were saying. He lost 20 pounds, and then he had to learn the offense, and it's taking him a long time to understand the offense. When a guy can run, well, first of all, the guy's 6'3", can run a 40 in 4.3. Okay, a big man that can run a 4.3 can jump really, really high, probably the highest vertical leap than any player on the team, and has good hands. Why the hell is this guy not on the field? And Corey Davis is. I'm sorry, he's a more athletic, better Corey Davis. The fact that this guy is not getting any looks, not getting any throws, every time he's on the field and there's a play to be made, he makes it. So why isn't he playing?
All right, there's a couple of things here. Number one, Corey Davis is a big reason why he's not playing. Because really, if the role they are envisioning Denzel Mims to have in this offense kind of belongs to Corey Davis first. And that they gave him the contract and he's the veteran there. But I completely agree with you because I've been arguing this all in training camp. I'm sitting there. I don't care how limited he knows the offense. You can find 15 plays in that playbook where he can run that route. You can find a group. You don't have to design a whole package for him. You can pick out plays that's in the playbook and say he can run this, and that. And whenever that play calls, you can send him in there. And he's too talented to not do that. But so it's partially the Corey Davis thing, but it's also mainly he was struggling on the playbook. It's such a timing based offense, but also that they're kind of using him to make an example out of. They've been using him. They've picked the coaching staffs. New coaching staffs tend to do this. They pick somebody that they want to make an example out of, and you better be on your P's and Q's and do everything right, exactly how I tell you, and you're to earn your playing time. I don't care that you were a second-round draft pick. They pick somebody like that to do that, and it's dumb.
He's a kid. He's a kid. I don't understand this. And now, how about the trade deadline? How many teams were reaching out to the Jets? I heard there were like 7 teams that were interested in Denzel Mims. And then all of a sudden, Joe Douglas says, well, he's not available. So all of a sudden, he's not available when they had him on the trademark. And now all of a sudden, the 7 teams, we want him. We're not trading him. It doesn't make sense. None of it does.
So that's the other part of it. Because if you feel that way about him, if you don't like him, you don't think he can help this offense, then trade him because he would have had trade value. But the longer you hold on to him and do nothing with him, he loses trade value. So by week 3, it's like trade him or play him or trade him. And they kept him, and he got a little bit of playing time when Corey Davis was hurt.
They didn't throw him the ball at all.
Yeah,
at all.
But he's too talented to not be getting chances. And Corey Davis has had so many drop issues, the fumble. He's got to get chances.
They also said that when they did throw him the ball with the Bengals, he dropped the ball out. Let me explain something to you guys. When you're playing in a full contact sport and you don't see the ball all season long, and then you're playing significant time and you know the ball's coming to you, you're going to make mistakes. The pressure is on. He needs to see repetitive balls thrown to him where he knows where the balls are going to be, the contact of the sport. How is he supposed to learn that in one game? So, and then he still made some unbelievable catches in the game. I just think that he could be a better player if they used him more. I'm thrown off with that. That's the thing that really throws me off, especially with this team. But the running game and I'm sure Speed is going to get into that quickly, of the running game.
I actually wanted to get more into Mims because I think it's an interesting conundrum because the Jets could have traded him. Like Errol was saying, there were teams offering 2nd-round picks to get him. I think one team offering a late first. And being that he has that kind of value, and you're right to an extent, I think I was a little worried about him being a scheme fit initially too, because the 49ers offense with Kyle Shanahan never really had the big body type receivers. So Do you think is that the approach you would do if you're the Jets right now? Do you think the Jets have to explore trading him if they don't play him a lot? Because he did do well in a small sample size in the 2020 season. He was among the top among rookies in his sample in certain possession metrics and analytics. He was up there with Justin Jefferson and Ayuk and CeeDee Lamb and guys like that. Do you think they have to trade him in the offseason, or do you think they'll eventually force Mike LaFleur to play him?
I don't think they have to, but I think they probably should, just because I don't trust that they're going to say, let's figure out how to get this guy involved. I just don't trust that they're going to do it. I think they should, at least what they should do, trade line deadline has passed. Yes. They should use the rest of this season to see what they have in him and see if they can make it work in this offense. And if they can't, then yes, before training camp starts,
trade him before the draft.
Yeah, before the draft, before free agency, before anything, trade him as soon as you possibly can. If you know that you're not gonna, he's not a fit in this offense, then yeah, and that's why it should have been done if they know that already. I think it's hard for me to conceive that he can't fit somehow in this offense. So I'd be trying to make it work, but I don't think they're gonna put forth the dedication that I would. So yeah, I think the end result is gonna be trade him.
This is terrible. My friend doesn't want to hear you say that. He's a big Denzel Mims fan, and I love.
I am too. I think he's super talented.
Yeah,
so
I think, and you've seen him on the field quite a few times live, and I haven't really gotten a chance fully to see him live, but I know there's a lot of people that tell me how fast he is, how long and how strong he is, and how he could be the guy. He could be the guy that the Jets, that's prototypical wide receiver that's going to get you 10 touchdowns and over 1,200 yards every single season. I want to see that from him, but if they keep pushing him away to Corey Davis, okay, Corey's good, but he's not good enough to be a number one. And I will say this. When I listened to him saying that he got number one type of money, he got $40 million, okay? 38 and a half. That's not a lot of money for a number one wide receiver, okay? The number one wide receivers start off making 18, 19 million, okay? He's not making that. So for him to come out and say, well, I'm a number one, that's great. That's great confidence, Corey. You're not. You're a number two. Let's stop dreaming the dream, or whatever the hell you're drinking or whatever you're smoking. Please give me some of the puff. Okay. I don't know why he keeps calling himself a number. Dude, you're not a number one. We've seen it enough. I mean, even against the Tennessee Titans, when you made the most catches, they were fantastic. But that was really Zach Wilson placing the ball in your hands. That wasn't you, So I like Corey Davis. I think there's a lot of Tennessee Titan fans that are now Jet fans telling me that you wait and see. I've seen enough of Corey Davis. I know what he is. He's a Decker type of player. He's a good player. He's not the guy that's going to be a Brandon Marshall type of player that can change a game by himself. He's not that guy.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just a little thrown off with what the Jets are and who they are as a team.
I feel bad for the man. He has to cover the Jets all year long. That's got to be. That's a grueling job.
Oh, stop.
That's terrible.
It can be. It honestly can be.
That's unconstitutional torture.
How about being a Jet fan as long as I have? That's torture.
That's you signed up for that. I don't. Yeah. That just makes you crazy.
Well, no, because I've seen a lot of bad football. So
right, and you continue to stay.
That's you don't ever leave your team.
Hold on,
nobody.
Do you
leaves
understand
your
the
team.
definition of insanity is doing the same thing?
You don't leave your team. That's
you know that, right?
You're called a front runner. Okay,
I'm not a front runner.
Well, stop telling me to be a front runner then.
I'm not.
No, we're not. We're not Evan Perlmutter.
You can go and be a different fan somewhere else. Sell your fanhood like the others.
I'm not Evan Perlmutter. Okay? I'm not going to sell my fanhood for $3,000 on eBay saying okay,
$3,000 for something that does not exist is a hell of a bargain.
Give me a break. I wouldn't waste my time. Anyways, go ahead, Tyler.
Well, thank you, Christopher. If that is your real name. Obviously, we're talking about the New York Jets, we'll call them. And their best player, I think, is Marcus May at this point. Obviously, he's had an unfortunate end to his season, even though, the Jets aren't going to need him.
He's the best player on the team?
What?
It's
arguable. Him, C.J. Mosley, or...
It's not arguable. I would say C.J. Mosley is the best player on the team. It's a fact. And then,
I like CJ
at some
Mosley.
points,
You were
you
my
would think
voucher for
it's
this.
Quentin Williams.
He will be, I think, at the end of next year, not right now.
I don't know what's going on with him. He disappears in games. I'm
No,
lost
that's
with
why
that
he's
too.
not. Right.
I don't understand that. I mean, why isn't his brother not playing too? I mean, he looked awesome, and he's not on the field. That's another stupid move by the Jets. Why would you bring him in? He's playing unbelievable football, and then all of a sudden, you know what? We got a guy coming back. Davis
Because they're the Jets.
Jared Davis is coming back. We're just going to put him on the bench and play Jared Davis. Yeah, real smart. Why? Because you paid him? Give me a break. Break.
Break.
I gave him.
The Buccaneers might trade him.
I'm losing. Well, that's true too. Anyways, give me a break. That's a good one. Anyways, go ahead, Tyler. I'm sorry.
You sure?
I'm sorry. Yes.
I know you get very emotional when the Jets
I'm
get
a little
thrown up.
emotional on this. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I? May.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Marcus May, I think, is their best player defensively, at least. Well, probably for the whole team. That's not saying much. He's obviously got this big contract dispute with the Jets. Do you have any updates on where they are? Are they close? Are they far apart? Is he staying? He's going?
They are not close. They have not been close for a while. Going into the season, I thought that actually it just made the most sense. For the Jets weren't trying to pay him a ton of money guaranteed going forward. He's going to be 30 soon. It's just bad timing really for him because he came into this league as an older player already. So by the time he's up with the franchise tag, he's going to be hitting 30. So for him, I thought the best thing for him is just ride out the franchise tag and then go get sign a 2 or 3 year deal with whoever pays you the most money, some playoff team. But he's had not only the injury, but he had the DUI that he lied about and didn't tell anybody about. So that I don't know how to, quantify what that's going to do, especially in the NFL. There's a lot of teams who aren't going to even care. So I don't even know that that's going to factor in at all. The injury is going to obviously be more of a concern. The biggest problem for him is the point of the year where he got hurt and the Achilles injury. This injury is lasting into next season. He's not going to be ready for training camp. So that's going to already put a dent in the contract. He's most likely looking at another a 1 year contract type of prove it deal to try to go and get, a $2 or $3 million deal, year deal the next cycle around.
I think he's going to get $40 million. If the Jets were being nice to him because he's been a good Jet and a good leader for the Jets, and Achilles injuries too, he's not going to be the same player either. Yeah. He's not. It's so, especially at 30. See, a guy like Carl Lawson, he's more like that guy's workout plan is ridiculous. He's like a Peterson type of workout plan. So I believe him to come back. He'll be 27 next year. I believe him to come back strong and beastly next year. I think the Jets are going to get themselves the player that they thought he was going to be, and they got him on the cheap too, by the way. Yeah. So, but Marcus May is not making any money. He's not.
You guys missed Jamal Adams yet?
No. Thank God. I mean, that guy.
Thank God.
Yeah. How good is the defense over there in Seattle, by the way? The second.
Also 7th overall draft pick next year coming up.
Yes. By the way, that also helps the Jets too. That they got 2 top 10 picks that could really set and solidify that team for a very long time.
I told you what I think Seattle's doing. Seattle's going to hit a rebuild button.
Yeah, they pretty much have to at this point, especially if Russ is going to leave, which it feels like he's going to force his way out after this year.
Now, where does he want to go, Chris?
That list he gave was crazy to me.
Yeah, he's not. He's going to go where they think they're going to get the most back for him. They're not going to send him to a place. He's talking about the Giants.
Wherever
the Giants,
he goes is a playoff
The
team.
Giants is an interesting place that I just don't think the Giants are going to give Seattle their future for him. I just don't see it. I don't think it's going to happen. That's not the way the Giants work. That's not the way the organization works.
It might save Dave Gettleman's job.
Gettleman's gone, no matter what.
It depends when this trade happens.
He's gone no matter what. Trust me.
I mean, I'm not going to be upset if he
Gettleman will be.
They're not going to let him make that trade and then get rid of him.
That's what I'm saying. I think it might save his job.
Gettleman is gone, and I believe Joe Judge, unfortunately, because he's in the middle of this, he will be gone with Mr. Gettleman. No, it's not stupid. I think that's the way it goes. And that's the way an organization works. And I think Mara is not going to make a move where they're going to have to trade away their future for one guy. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to help them win a championship any quicker. Trust me.
Let's be back with the Patriots or one of the Patriot proteges.
Probably. I mean, just
Tennessee,
before we let you
Miami,
go, we really appreciate you joining us at this time too. By the way, we want you to come on again. I would love to get you on with it. We're trying to set up like Knicks and Nets guys against each other because putting them on and put a Jets and a Giants guy.
Okay,
and try to get the baby brother in the lead team, so we could go back and forth with trivia questions and go back and forth and see what guy knows more about their team.
I'll ask the one we had right before Christmas, Joe something. I'll ask him.
Yeah, why don't you ask Joe?
Yeah. I'll ask him.
I remember good. Joe. He was good. He was very good. The Giants beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Last question. I really was looking at Robert Saleh to really change this organization. I really did. I still do in some kind of way. What alarms me right now about Robert Saleh is he's not fully taking the blame of this team. I don't really think he's put the blame on the team's unsuccessful defense so far. I'm talking a historic defense. This was one of the best defenses in the league, top 10 defenses in the league. And then all of a sudden after the Bengals game, I don't know what happened. I mean, this defense went kaput. They're putting up 45s. I mean, this is the second worst defensive 4 games we've ever seen in NFL history. To me, the Jets are breaking more bad records. I don't want to hear bad records come from my team. So Robert Saleh has not really come out. Rex Ryan has come out and said what he feels about the team. I think it's very funny what he said. But that's sexy Rexy. We know what Rex does when he's here. He likes to make a splash. Why not in the media make even more of a splash? And then Robert Saleh comes out and says, I don't even know this guy. If he wants to meet me, we'll come and talk, and we'll talk in person, man to man, like kind of like in his own little way, threatening him, like, why don't you come down and come and talk to me the right manly way? But I think it's very, very funny. It's great media here. It's definitely something that people are talking about. What is this? I mean, is Robert Saleh, is he the guy? Do you think he's the guy? Because I want to believe he is, but we thought Rexy was the guy, and 5 years later, he wasn't the guy.
Yeah, the whole Rex Saleh thing it's classic Rex. I was definitely surprised at Saleh saying, come find me. I wasn't prepared for that. I thought he would have just kind of brushed it aside, but come find me. I would suggest Rex not come find him because Rex is losing that fight. It is ironic because the thing, Rex got offended because he was like, don't compare this guy to me. And it was like a couple people in the media drew a comparison because you both get excited about stuff on the sidelines and your defensive coaches. That's it. There's no other comparison there. These are completely different situations that he walked into and Rex walked into. But so I think Saleh was a little put off by that. But one way that they are similar, and this is the biggest reason why I do still believe in Saleh, is people are like, follow that man. These players love him and they want to follow him. And they just talk the free agents that they signed, the way they talked about him when they signed him, like Carl Lawson was just like, I sat down with this man and I wanted to play for him. So I do now that's not enough alone. Obviously, we've seen that didn't work out for Rex in the end. There's lots of coaches that Belichick's hated by people, and it worked for him. So there's different ways to go about it, but also his defense in San Francisco when he took over struggled at first. This defense was always going to struggle too. They started the season with the plan to start multiple undrafted rookies. They went in, there was all training camp were asking, what about a veteran corner? What about a veteran corner? And they're saying, no, we want to, we can go get a veteran corner to try to tread water, or we can take our lumps with young guys that we want to develop and think can be something down the road. And that's the path that they chose. And then on top of that, injuries are a part of the NFL. We know that, but their entire starting safety unit is out. LaMarcus Jordan didn't even get to play a snap. They played a couple games without their entire starting linebacker core. So and also the defensive line, as good as it is, there is a flaw in this scheme. There's a flaw in every scheme. This scheme, they asked the interior defensive linemen to just attack, just penetrate and attack, which can lead to open running lanes if your linebackers don't know what they're doing and can't cover that up. And you have a bunch of, aside from CJ Mosley, a bunch of young and inexperienced and not that great linebackers there. So that's it's been like a perfect storm that's just led to this. So I do still have faith in him, although the Denzel Mims thing, there are a couple things that are popping up that I'm like, I don't know. That's a little bit of cause and concern, but overall, I'm a believer, and I think year 2 will look much, much better.
I could only hope as a Jet fan.
Yes.
It can't look any worse. And I think as far as the corner is concerned, it looks like the Jets are falling in position where a lot of people believe they're going to draft the LSU corner. There's a lot of draft boards that are saying that the Jets, if he does fall to the Jets and the Jets do fall in position, that's who they're going to gun for. Even though they're young corner, they have a bunch of young corners, but you get a guy that's a revolutionized type of corner that can do that. We all know Darrelle Revis, so we know what he did with the organization and with that team when you had a guy that could shut down one side of the field. So who knows? I don't know if that's where they go. Maybe they go offensive line, but we really appreciate you joining us, Chris. It's been really, by the way, you're great. And we might take this interview and put it on our FM radio show because you're a Jets guy. And by the way, you're just a good personality and you got some set of hair.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Tell the fans how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at C Nimbley and at Jets Insider, and you can check out my website and the work at jetsinsider.com.
Thank you so much, Chris. We'll talk to you very, very soon. Speedy will reach out to you. We're definitely going to get you on again.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Wow. Great interview. Gave us some good information. A lot with the Jets and all the Jets, because I had to talk to them about the Jets. Who couldn't talk about the Jets with a Jets beat writer? I'm just
probably
selfish.
A normal person.
I am selfish. Okay.
No, it's okay.
You've
had a rough week. You deserve it.
I've had a rough week, and why not talk about the Jets to make it even more rougher?
No, but you enjoy this.
Well, I do, but by the way, I haven't watched the Jets play a full game in the last 2 weeks because of my crazy, weekend. So good. I think it's probably best that I did.
It is definitely best that you haven't watched the Jets.
Yeah, but I did watch clips of the games.
No.
Watched all the game, all the big plays, which wasn't many. So wasn't
they
many.
Gave up a bunch of big plays.
Well, I'm sure they did, and I'm sure you were putting smiles on your face when they did.
I was at work.
Yeah, well, then you were smiling after when you heard they did. Okay. Anyways, why don't we go to a quick break? When we come back, we got a lot of sports to talk about. Oh, yes, we do. We still haven't gotten into the whole Mets hire as they hire a new GM, Billy Eppler, who obviously was part of the Yankees organization for 10 years. And then the 2 years of interesting moves over there with the Angels. I mean, he did sign Ohtani. He was a big part of the Ohtani signing, which he was right about that. But some other things that made him lose his job definitely scares me if a Met fan if it doesn't scare a Met fan. Also, the Yankees interested in Matt Olson and Corey Seager and the Hot Stove report as well, and NFL Week 10 here on the Sports Lab Nuts.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
Yeah. Look at Tyler shake his head. We got a little movement with Tyler. Hey, Tyler, maybe you could do an exercise on the show. Why don't you do some dances? I want to see you dance a little bit.
No,
come on.
There's no alcohol.
Shake your booty, man. Shake your little booty. Come on.
I would gladly do it if there was alcohol. I need to be good.
Wait a second. So if I got you a nice cup of alcohol,
drunk,
you'll start dancing.
Drunk?
No, not drunk. You just sip You'll dance a little bit. Yeah. All right. So tomorrow I might do that for you.
Oh, please. Please.
631-672-3108 is the number.
I might actually be able to get through the show without a headache.
You can go to the website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Go to our app on iOS, WWSR or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. So you're telling me if I got a cup of liquor on this show, I put the music on, you're gonna dance.
I'm not gonna get out and
you gotta dance. You gotta dance. It's gotta be fair. You get a cup of whatever I bring you. It could be Jack Daniels with a Coca-Cola. It could be something. I'm gonna hook you up, but you gotta get down and dirty on the show. People gotta watch you dance and move. The tiles. We'll call it the Tyler Shuffle. Okay?
No, we're not gonna call it the Tyler Shuffle.
Why not?
Because I'm not
Speedy's
that old.
got his shuffle. He'll do it. I'll have Speedy do his first, and we'll see we'll have people vote who's the better dancer. I'm serious.
I'll do it if you do it.
Oh,
you want me to do it? Anytime. You want me to do it? I'll do it
I'm
tomorrow.
still going to need my alcohol. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. But
Slug says, get Tyler drunk, bring in Speedy's dog, and let the magic happen.
Hey, I know where that dog's mouth's been. I don't want that dog near me. By the way, keep your hands on the table. I don't want you licking no fingers.
That would involve my tongue, but okay.
That's great. That is one of the best things Slug has ever said.
He also says, I'd love to do lunch if Speedy cooked and hosted the event. Getting drafted by the Jets is like getting the bankrupt court.
Snugs, I thought you liked me, Snugs.
And I like to smile. Smiling is my favorite.
That's a good
And
one.
bring
I
back
like
Adam
that one.
Gase.
I like that one. That was really funny.
Snugs, you answer me.
Get Tyler drunk, bring Speedy's dog, and let the magic happen.
Is your dog sterilized?
Sterilized?
Like, is he a clean dog?
Oh, that's great.
For the most part.
What do you mean for the most part? Well, his tongue went up your ass, so you tell me.
Yeah, in 2015. I'm sure there's different germs since then.
Oh.
So it's a mixed bag. Who knows?
You should know. It's your dog.
I'm not there all the
Like,
time.
does
He lives in
Does
Connecticut.
his tongue turn green?
No. No, it does not. If it does, I'll let you know.
What was his initial reaction after he licked your ass? Just so I can understand how.
I don't know. He
What do you
blindsided me.
When you went, oh shit, and turned around, what was the dog doing? I just need to know, because if he comes here for me, I don't want to be shocked.
Did he clean whatever he put his tongue in? Did he clean it?
Clean it?
Yeah, because the dog's tongue is.
I don't know. I didn't go into that much detail.
Help me understand.
Why not?
It's your dog.
Why? Because I was blindsided.
What, blindsided that your dog was licking your ass?
Yes.
I mean, obviously you can't be blindsided with something like has like a little sterile like feeling in his ass. I mean, seriously, if you have a wet tongue in your ass, you should jump.
Did you do the
Okay,
right thing?
it was a little bit of a jump. Do you want to?
How did you hop? Can we see the hop?
I don't remember.
Yeah, he doesn't remember the hop.
Did you return the favor?
No.
You should have been a nice dog owner and returned the favor.
Return the favor.
He licked your ass because it needed
Yeah,
to be clean.
the difference is I don't know how sensitive he'll be.
And then Snug says, in Speedy's dog, a dancing dog. And then he says, in that moment,
I've tried Snug.
Who smiled more, Speedy or the dog?
Oh, probably him. Probably him. Probably him.
Why
Did you train your dog to do that?
No. Again, I was blindsided.
Did you train the dog?
Who's the dog around most?
Not him anymore. He was.
Probably at that time, it was either me or my youngest brother, Aiden, at that time. In terms of
Does
who
he
he was
lick
around
Aiden
the
fast?
most, I have no idea.
So
you should ask.
So
These
wait
are
a second.
very
Wait a second.
important
So
conversations.
if we reached out to Aiden right now and call him on the show, can we ask him if he actually had his dog, your dog, lick his ass? Can we do that?
I will ask
think
him
that'd be great.
privately. I'm not putting that
Call
on the
him.
show.
Put him on the show.
I'm not doing it on the
He
show.
could be a star.
I think he'd have a lot of fun doing it, actually. I think he has the personality to laugh at it and think it was very funny. I think his personality is he'll probably laugh. Why wouldn't you bring your brother on the show? We should get him on the show.
I'm not blindsiding him by asking him that question.
We'll do an interview and then we'll slide. We'll slide it in. What do you think about that?
Not happening.
Why not? I think it'll be really, really funny.
We'll slide it in like your dog slew his tongue in your
God.
ass.
And you went there.
But it would be very interesting to see if the same problem
Maybe
that
your
you
dog
have with
has
your
a
dog.
problem. Maybe your dog's a whore.
Maybe he is. Maybe he likes licking ass. You know?
Maybe he needs to be put down. We don't know.
No, he doesn't. Don't go that far.
You think he'd lick his mom's ass?
He's
Maybe
8 years
he's
old.
got a problem.
Maybe his mother taught her.
Maybe he's a dogophile.
No.
We don't know.
A dogophile.
You need to. These are your four walls. You need to control this.
Hold on one second. So maybe your mom actually taught him as a young baby how to stick his beak in your ass.
I don't know. My dog's
Maybe he was
birth
cleaning your ass when you
mother.
were a kid.
Now.
How
This
old is
is
your
Errol's-
dog?
8.
So how old are you right now?
Me, I'm 26.
So you had him when you were 18, right? When a baby.
Well, no. The dog, we had the dog in 2014. He was born a year before that. So
Okay.
we got him the summer of 2014. I think it was July 10th or something.
Who trained him?
All of us collectively. 'Cause my brothers at that time were still
Like
in
a
high
caterpillar.
school or middle school.
A
I was
centipede, they call it.
I was in college, so when I was there on certain weekends and in the summer, I would play with him and stuff like that.
So you play with him?
Yes.
Now, how did you
All
play
the
with
time?
him?
Sometimes with pranks, sometimes
Oh, so
with
you
Whoa.
Oh, but he's very selective. Like
he's
if we have like different types of toys, like
You're
he'll
getting
pick a
confused, I'm
favorite.
I'm really confused, but that's okay.
What kind of toys?
What kind of toys do you use?
So some of them, his favorite are tennis balls.
Oh, he
No.
likes tennis balls.
And his favorite of all
Does
those.
he like
tennis
it when he
balls.
goes in the pool and rubs all
He doesn't
over?
like water.
Oh, he doesn't like.
He doesn't really like
No.
water.
But
No.
he likes to, give people water, right? He
Does
likes
salivate?
Does he?
He doesn't prefer to salivate.
Does he make you feel good about yourself, warm and touchy when he comes?
He is
next to
warm.
you?
He is warm.
Does he feel like very,
Doggish
when you hold him?
Doggish.
Yeah.
Sure, I guess.
You gonna ask the $1 million question, or am I gonna do it?
I think you should.
Okay, let's get.
Go ahead.
Does your dog like doggy or no?
Like doggy?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Does he like doggy?
Right. It's not that hard of a question. It's yes or no.
I guess. Sure. I don't know what that means,
You
but
should be
sure.
thrown in jail, sir. That is animal cruelty.
I don't know what doggy is.
I hope somebody calls PETA on your ass.
I don't know what doggy is. I would never inflict any cruelty on him.
Well, you already have.
By doing what?
Well, A, he licked your ass, and B, how do you know he likes doggies beyond me?
I have no
But
idea.
this
I don't know
conversation
what
ends
that
now.
is.
Well, you should figure it out. You're the producer. Produce. Google it.
I don't know what that is.
The fact you've subjected me and Errol to this nonsense is crazy.
Actually, I think we brought it up and we subjected it.
Well,
to
I
him.
know, but I wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna bring that up.
I mean, it's not my fault that he liked his dog in his ass. I mean, he was straddled. He jumped, but he liked it, right?
I didn't like it.
So what you did? So you're telling me? Hold on one second. I'll leave you alone after this. So you're telling me when
No,
he
you're
had
not.
when he had his tongue in your ass, not for 1 second did you like it?
No.
What did it feel like?
A tongue.
It felt like a tongue.
Yeah, saliva.
Saliva. So you
He
felt
spit in your ass?
Yeah.
He lubed you up?
What?
God damn it, Speedy.
What does that even mean?
This dog really is a man's best friend, and I don't think you fully understand.
Yes, yes. He likes us, but
No, he loves you.
okay, yes, that was true. When I was
man's best friend.
the first 3
his
years
ass.
before I came here to work with the network, where we had him.
You know what?
He did like me because I gave him the most attention and I played with him. It wasn't
Played with
Yep.
him.
Yes, outside. And like,
Did
you play capture the balls?
Yes, and I hid them on him.
You hid him on?
What?
Yeah.
Where'd you hide him?
I would usually
Where'd you hide him on his ears? Where'd you hide him?
He'd find him. It was in his ears.
So where did he find him?
No. Sometimes I'd hide him behind bushes. I would hide him like in the woods.
How about in your
right
pants?
near our house?
How about in your pants? Did you ever put them in your pants?
Sometimes I'd put it in my pocket. Yeah, I would,
Yeah?
or a jacket pocket, something like that. Yeah, I would sometimes. It depends, but
Does
because
that hurt
like
you
I was
at
saying,
all? When you put your balls in your jacket.
one ball, whatever his favorite one was. It usually was the medium-sized squeaky tennis ball.
Yeah, he likes the medium size.
Yes, those are always his favorites.
Yes.
Yeah, the green one or the yellow one?
Didn't matter the color.
He likes
Usually they were
blue.
either green
He
or
likes them blue.
I don't know if there was ever a blue one.
No.
Usually they were green or orange.
Green or orange. So he likes orange.
Have you been to a doctor?
Yes, I've been to a doctor in my life. What's your
So
point?
they cleared it out?
What?
An orange testicle, Speedy, is not a common
When did I
occurrence.
say testicle?
That's Tyler thinking his dirty thoughts. Anyways.
Keep your hands on the table. That's all I want.
Anyways.
Matter of fact.
Why
Why
don't we get into obviously the NBA? Well, let's go into the MLB. We'll finish up with football because there's a lot to talk about. The Mets obviously signed a new GM. I was very surprised, and you know what's so funny? When I heard that the Mets were bringing in this GM, I was laughing because everybody said he was the perfect pick for the Mets. Meanwhile, they interviewed how many people for the job?
At least
30
10.
jobs,
At least 10.
30 guys, 15 guys, whatever and he was the best guy for the job because he was the last guy for the job that interviewed said, yes, I'll take the job.
Yep, sounds about right.
Billy Eppler worked for the New York Yankees for about 10 years. On the good years for the Yankees, he was a big part of that organization and helped them maneuver the scouting for the New York Yankees. He was the lead scout for the Yankees for many, many years. And a lot of the guys that we saw, after Derek Jeter, but all the other young players that we saw came up. It was really him, like Luis Soriano or somebody,
Alfonso Soriano,
I'm sorry, Alfonso Soriano or all the other guys that came up with the Yankees organization. He was a big part of the growth of some of the young players, and obviously Robertson Cano and those guys. So,
by the way, he's still on the Mets. He gets to come back this year. Yeah,
he gets to coach the same guy that he picked. So there you go.
Yeah, assuming he doesn't get suspended again.
Anyways, so the Mets are now positioned with a GM. The question is, are they going to do it with a manager? I do believe they'll find a manager. I think it'll be somebody with the Angels organization.
Yeah,
or
unfortunately,
the Yankees,
that's what I'm hearing too.
Or the Yankees organization. I more of the Angels organization. So Met fans are probably not going to be happy with the name that comes out.
Can I briefly say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's Mike Scioscia,
No, it's not. No, Mike Scioscia's not the one I'm mad at. It's a lot more rumored. No, Mike Scioscia I like.
But I'm just saying, if Billy Eppler brings in Mike Scioscia, and
It's
I
not
hear a
gonna
single
happen.
I understand. But if the Mets get Mike Scioscia as the manager, it's not going to be because he wants somebody analytical. But if it's Scioscia, I should have the right to slap you.
No.
Because
I
all
don't.
Mets fans do
Scioscia is not the
complain
one
about
I was
everything.
referring to. No. The one I'm referring to is Brad Ausmus, who was awful with a very talented Tigers team.
But there was another name that came out, and I think Met fans will be very happy to hear this. Buck Showalter was another name on the list. The two top guys, Buck Showalter and Brad Ausmus, are the two big names that Eppler is really deciding on where he wants to go with it.
I can't see Showalter and him getting along.
He's very close. Supposedly, they're very close, and he's a guy.
Yeah, Yankees ties.
Yeah, but one's analytical and one's old school.
Well, you got to remember, if they are bringing in this new GM, Sandy Alderson's values are still going to be there, but it's not
good
going
with young players.
It's not going to be as strong where the analytic push like Luis Rojas. Luis Rojas was an analytical guy. That was his position. He was.
Plus, I think Buck will only take the Mets job out of all the jobs because he wants to stay closer to home in New York.
Sure.
So that's what I heard. He wants to stay on the East Coast. He wants to be closer to his family. He's a New York guy. He wants to be here.
So we could have killed 2 birds with 1 stone, fired Aaron Boone, and brought back Buck Showalter.
I don't think the Yankees. I don't think the Yankees want to bring in an older guy.
No, I know.
That's not what the Yankees want.
My daily shot at Aaron.
Yeah, if it came down to Aaron Boone or Brad Ausmus, I'm taking Aaron Boone 10 times out of 10. I'll tell you that right now. Brad Ausmus took great,
I don't think Buck was the
talented
guy.
Tigers teams and put them into the ground.
Yeah, I don't think Buck is the type of guy that the Yankees want. I think the Yankees. I know who the Yankees are going to look at. They have guys in their organization right now they're going to be looking at when they decide to part ways. I just told you, you know the guys that I've mentioned. I still believe these guys are going to be the lead guys to get the job. I heard that, by the way, David Cohn, there was somebody that wanted to talk to David Cohn in the offseason, and the Yankees would not allow him. So,
but can they legally do that?
Yes, they
He's
can.
not employed by the team.
Yes, he is. He's under contract with the Yankees and the Yes Network.
Yes Network.
Which is owned by who?
No, I get it. The Steinbrenner's own it, but
all right. So he works for the Yankees. He works for the Yankees organization. So
I thought only coaches were allowed to.
No, the Yankees could. I think the Yankees are very interested in possibly the future bringing in David Cohn as the head manager of the team.
That'd be good. I'd be fine with David Cohn.
It's somebody that I think a lot of Yankee fans would be very happy with, and a guy that is, is a New York
moron we have now.
He is a New York bound guy. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think David Cohn will be going anywhere but the Yankees if he does take a coaching or manager job.
You're a legend. You're a legend moron. Is still 20 times the manager that Brad Ausmus is, though.
No,
that's not saying much.
I know. I'm just saying.
It's saying a lot.
But
you make it seem,
hold on. Wait,
you make it seem like he's a bad manager, which is ridiculous.
He's not a bad manager. He's average.
Aaron Ausmus?
No,
Aaron Boone.
Aaron Boone is not an average manager.
No,
that's the most ridiculous.
No, he's a good
statement.
manager.
He's a good manager.
Brad Ausmus is
that is a
awful.
ridiculous statement by you, and you're wrong. And you want to hate
It's
the
my
guy?
opinion.
Hate him. Yeah, you can hate the guy. Don't say he's an awful or he's
I
okay.
didn't say he's
all right,
awful.
you say he's an average manager. He's not an average manager. No average manager does what he does with the injuries that he's had over the last 4 years. So I'm telling you right now, don't call him average. He's not average. He's amongst the top 10 easy managers in the league. It's not even an argument. And to say that some people, including yours truly, would think he's, I would say 5 or 6 in my list. So that's where I look at. And if you're 5 or 6 with 30 teams in the major leagues, you're pretty damn good. Okay. So
who won Coach of the Year in the American League, by the way?
Cash.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yes.
I thought Cora should have won, though.
That's
No, either way.
So did I. I thought Cora should.
The National League, they definitely got
especially the way Boston.
But again, he's another guy. Everyone wanted him. You wanted him fired.
I did.
So
Nope,
bad.
You're right. You're right.
You cursed out the Giants. They're morons.
You're
they
right.
made a
Nope,
mistake.
You're right. I called Gabe Kapler the worst manager in baseball that year.
You did.
I did. I was terribly wrong on that.
Kapler
absolutely deserves it, and then some. No team, the Giants are supposed to be rebuilding. I thought they had the 3rd worst roster in the National League at the beginning of the year. And this is the best part. In an era of baseball where you only see like 3-man benches, sometimes American League teams with only 2, he went with a 6-man bench and made it work, which is utterly
And you know what's so funny? And you love what Kapler did, and you just stuck up for Kapler, my friend. When Aaron Boone did it with 40 or 50 injuries that year and took the Yankees to 105 wins, and the Yankees took him into the playoffs and do what he did, and went as far as the Giants did in the playoffs. You can't give Aaron Boone, actually went further, and you can't give Aaron Boone any credit. That's what makes me sick to my stomach, is it shows you how much you hate a guy, because Kapler did exactly what Aaron Boone did. Actually, Aaron Boone did it harder with a team that had nobodies on the team. Guys that you never even heard of. Took them for 105 wins, and you got all the crap to say about Aaron Boone. It's garbage, and I don't want to hear it.
In Kapler's defense, though, a lot of those guys were supposed to be nobodies, though.
Yeah, and what about the Yankees? The guys that they brought?
Sure.
Look at the guys that were on that team and on that roster. Guys that, were people that picked up on waivers that were hitting the ball.
Right.
I don't want to hear it, okay? Aaron Boone deserves a lot of credit that you don't give him, but you're going to give Dave Kapler after 1 season. Oh, my God, 1 season. And then Aaron Boone, winning seasons, back to back years. All the time the Yankees made the playoffs.
It just proves what I said on the Weekend Crunch. The Phillies just might be unmanageable.
No, it's just their bullpen. When you have a bad
which is
bullpen,
utterly atrocious.
and we were talking about it, their bullpen is horrible.
It is.
It's a horrible bullpen.
It might be the most
And Zach
unmanageable
Wheeler,
bullpen I ever
honestly, I like Byrne or whatever his
Burns.
Burns. He won, and he had a good start up of the season. He kind of died down at the end of the season, but he was great in the beginning.
Was just limited with innings more.
The guy that really played well that should have gotten is Zach Wheeler. I mean, Zach Wheeler had a fantastic season.
I'm surprised Bueller wasn't a finalist either. He had a great year, too.
Yeah, but Zach Wheeler deserved it. I really do believe it. His second half, the way he shut down teams, every time he was on the mound, they won. And every time he wasn't, they lost.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, how could you not see the Mets?
The Phillies just needed a time machine to go back.
You know, it's so funny because me and Mikey C were arguing years and years ago. We both argued that the two best pitchers on those Met teams, not Harvey, not Matz, not any of that. He took DeGrom, and I took Zach Wheeler, and I said Zach Wheeler has more pitches than any one of those pitchers on the mound for the Mets. The only thing about Zach Wheeler that scares me is his injury prone, and he's an injury prone player. If this kid actually gets a chance and he plays a full season, he is going to be a Cy Young candidate. Is he Jacob DeGrom? No. Who is? But health-wise, he's proven to stay more durable than Jacob DeGrom this year, which says a lot if they do it back-to-back years and Jacob DeGrom is still a dominant player but can't finish the season. And this guy goes another full season and dominates the way he did with Philadelphia.
Zach Wheeler with the Mets is the reverse.
Could you about Wheeler and DeGrom in that pitching staff?
Zach Wheeler, when he was with the Mets, was the reverse Marcus Stroman. Was always iffy in the first half of the season, was great in the second half, but Stroman's the other way around.
DeGrom and Wheeler right now.
The guy that has the biggest
Syndergaard goes to the Angels, by the way.
I actually don't mind. $25 million. I wouldn't have paid him that. I think the Mets made the right move.
And I told you, that's why I didn't want the Yankees.
The Yankees weren't going to give him 25.
And I'm glad the Mets didn't either.
But if he is a dominant pitcher, watch out for that.
What a freaking goal. What was that?
Well, he put it up. He put it up high. He came down on a breakaway and flipped it right up. It's not a great goal. It was a goal.
Grubauer's looking very bad.
He's had a rough start to the year, yeah.
It's still so early.
But they had played no defense. I'm surprised their defense.
I mean, that's another thing I could say about the Islanders. They haven't their defense. I don't know. Their defense is falling apart.
No, Seabrook's on Tampa.
But I don't.
Oh, that's right. They traded him.
Yep.
I'm not fearing what some of these teams. It's still early. With hockey, that was a good goal. Nothing special. Anyways, get back to it. With the Yankees, now we're hearing obviously possibly making a move for. Olson, maybe making a move for Seager. Listen, whatever the Yankees decide to do, they're going to bring them on contracts that are veterans contracts. Like Corey Seager will get $14-15 million. Is that great for us? Is that a good contract for a good shortstop that stays healthy? He's not a healthy guy, but if he stays healthy, we saw what DJ LeMahieu could do for 2 years. I think Seager would fit like a glove in this offense. He can hit for average. He's a good playoff hitter. And then maybe you decide to go after a Freeman. I think Freeman, if you solidify those two positions right there, you have arguably the best lineup in baseball. I don't know what you're arguing about. I think they need bullpen help. Starting pitching, they think you can find starting pitching. In you can guys
that yet to do it.
Well, that's fine, but you could find starting. I think the bullpen is the most important thing for the Yankees to fill in. I think this offseason is going to be a big important situation on where they think that this bullpen is going to be this year and where this bullpen could be this year.
Save this clip, please.
You can save it.
I actually want to. No, Speedy should do it. Because I will probably never say this to you out loud ever again on this show.
Okay.
I want to give you, because you brought up something last week, whatever the last time we talked about this one. The smartest thing they should do is call Masahiro Tanaka in Japan and say, "Listen, we want you back."
That's a rumor that they might bring Masahiro Tanaka back because he's a guy that's not going to cost a lot of money for them, and he's a guy that can pitch here in New York.
Well, not only that, and I don't want to hear any Yankee fan, "Oh, his ERA's 4, it's close to 5."
By the way, an unbelievable save.
Screw all that noise. He can pitch in the playoffs. That's what you want Tanaka back for. He is a big game pitcher, and they don't have that.
Is that it?
Well, no, that's the only thing I want to give you credit for right now. Yes.
There you can. Well, the credit is.
And now here's the backlash.
And this is the save that was beautiful. Bam. There you go.
You know who else would have made that save?
Oh.
Well,
you're going to bring a Ranger up? I knew it was a Ranger.
But you know who currently could make that save?
Oh.
Igor Shesterkin.
Congratulations. Man. Yeah.
The way Sorokin looked last night, he couldn't stop a cold.
That's fine. And Sorokin has not looked good for the last 2 games, but that has a lot to do with the traveling that they're doing. And if you think that if you think that this is what's going to be the whole season,
Sorokin will be a top 15 goalie.
He'll be a top 10 goaltender, and you can say whatever you want. So
Stark says the Mets let Noah Syndergaard go, probably a good move. Yeah, I wouldn't have paid him that much. Brad Ausmus is a perfect match for the Mets. Double train wreck. Yeah, sounds about right. The Mets should bring in Benny Agbayani in as the manager. Lenny Dykstra, new Mets manager. Yeah, that would go along with all the front office guys they've had recently. Yeah, just to have it fit the trend. And did Tyler just play the Beeve opinion card?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
By the way,
everyone else uses it on daily, so I wouldn't.
Shesterkin and Sorokin, their numbers are practically the same. So, just so you know.
Well, didn't you call
I'm just saying.
Sorokin a prodigy?
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
He's had it, dude.
So then guess what?
Travel, dude. Do what Sorokin has done all season, and let's get down to the dirty, okay? Because what you say is ridiculous. He hasn't had a home game. He hasn't had a whole game all season long.
The Rangers have played better on the road than they have at home.
That's
which
they've done for the last 10 years.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
They always play better on the road, except in the playoffs where they need to.
Anyways, to get back to with the baseball, it's going to be a very interesting offseason. I'm intrigued on seeing what the Mets. What?
I had a bad hiccup.
Yeah, well, Scherzer's not being. He's not going to be a Yankee.
What do you mean?
He's not going to be. He's not going to be.
Who brought up Max Scherzer? I didn't say
just said
about
Max Scherzer. I just heard it.
Why? What did you hiccup instead?
It was Max Scherzer. I heard what he said.
I said gazoon type.
No, you said
really?
moron. How's that sound?
I definitely didn't say moron.
I think you're lost. How's that?
Don't worry. Next time you'll hiccup.
Is your dog here?
No.
Why is he going to lick your ass?
No, I don't know where that.
He wouldn't know how to open this door anyway. So
that would be interesting if he did.
Yeah, he only knows how to open one door in our house, and
I would like to see that actually. And by the way, Snug says Scherzer to the Brewers.
It's
if
possible.
That happens,
it's possible.
It's possible. They will go to the
I think
World Series
I think it's more likely either the Braves or the Cardinals.
You know who else? You know who else the Yankees should tamper with if they're going to do stupid trades? Go get Josh Hader. Go get him.
His price is going to go up very high, and the Brewers. I don't know if
still want Josh
being a near 100-win team. I don't know if they'll trade him.
If you're going to go out there, you're going to tell me they're going to trade. Take whatever you're going to trade for Matt Olson. Take whatever you're going to trade for Luis Castillo. Put them together and go get Hader, and then say, all right, we're fixing the bullpen. At least.
I just don't know how available you think Hader is going to be, though, because they made a big leap this year, the Brewers, because they won almost 100
games. You think the Brewers are going to pay him 5 years, $150 million as a reliever?
No,
because he's going to get the biggest contract a reliever's ever made.
It's possible.
He's young. He's durable. And he's getting better by the
year. He's phenomenal. He's perfect for modern baseball, and that's why I don't think the Brewers will get rid of him.
I do think they will. It's just a matter of time. They can't afford him, and they're not going to pay him. So
his value is at an all-time high.
They're going to have to move him. There's no way they're going to be able to pay him, even with the talent that they have on the team. Do you think they're going to overpay these guys? No,
they can't.
Milwaukee's a great city. It's a great place. It could be a place.
They're the Tampa Bay Rays of the National.
They're middle tier though.
It could be a place that we might go to do our show maybe in the future. So,
hey,
but honestly, yeah, maybe.
And Brewskis.
Yeah.
What is it, Miller? What is it, Miller?
No, they changed the name. It's now some insurance.
No, but they still get sponsored by.
Oh yeah. They still have the slide. Oh no,
whatever they do, don't give us Milwaukee beer. That shit's awful.
They took away the beer thing.
Milwaukee is the home of the beer. It's the home of the beer.
It's nasty.
What's nasty about the beer?
The hobs and beer to me is disgusting in general.
Yeah,
but really,
it's just Speedy will love it.
To be honest with you, the only beer I can drink is Corona.
Speedy will have a beer gut by the time he's done with that place.
A beer gut.
he'll be drinking beer all day long. Hey, let's go get a beer.
What am I, Mongo from Blazing Saddles?
I don't know, but your mom could go anywhere on the saddle with me.
Oh boy, we're gonna find the dog again.
My dog is not here.
What?
My dog is not here. If he was under the table,
hold on.
One of the tables would fall.
Tyler just almost put his head in Speedy's lap.
I wanted to find the dog.
Well,
the dog is not here.
Well, it might be between his legs.
My dog would not fit between my legs. You've seen him. It's not that small.
You've seen the dog?
I did, but I don't think that's the dog I'm talking about.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
Are you an Oscar Mayer?
What?
Or are you a
No, I'm
ballpark?
not. I'm not. Oh, for hot dogs, it doesn't matter.
You like Oscar
Or a
Mayer?
Shostorgan?
What?
Saberhagen. I'm sorry.
Saberhagen.
I like all hot dogs. I don't really. Have a
He
preference
likes all
sometimes.
hot dogs. He likes a lot of
How
sausages.
you like your
right?
hot dog cooked?
How do you like your sausage?
Broiled and it's dark. Broiled
He
dark,
likes
like
dark
a campfire
sausage. Yeah,
style, like a campfire style.
I got a guy.
You have a guy that broils hot dogs.
He's got the best hot dog on the planet.
All right, good to know.
Will you eat his hot dogs?
Okay, send me.
No, I'm asking. I don't want to. I don't want to impose.
Address. I'll consider it. Sure.
I think he's gonna come to you.
Send me his address.
It's a hot dog delivery service or a food truck?
We're going to hell, you know. Me and you are going to hell.
All right. Oh man.
Anyway, so Aaron Judge wants to be a Yankee for life or go to the Giants, huh? All right, cool.
Well, he's not going to the Giants. Who said he's going to the Giants?
He wanted to get drafted by the Giants, and he kind of wished that the Giants had drafted him originally in the draft. And
He's not going to the Giants.
No, I
He's
know.
not-
I
he's
just
not
wanted to-
leaving the Yankees. The
I just
Yankees
wanted to say something.
They're going to extend his contract. I think he's going to get $160, $170 million
I hope
contract
not.
from the Yankees. Yeah, that's what he's going to get. I mean, the Yankees will sign him to a 5-6 year deal. He'll make about $27 million a year, which is a good for a guy that. Listen, when healthy, Aaron Judge is a top 5 player in the league. You can argue that with his numbers and what he does consistently. 5-tool player, can run, he can throw, he can do everything.
Cannot stay healthy.
That's the only thing. But when he is, he's one of the best players in baseball. And I think this year he was one of the best players in baseball. You look at his numbers, statistics, analytics show that he has the best analytic year, not home runs, but hits per. He didn't strike out a lot. He was good. He was very, very good.
He was very good
this year. And
I want to see him do it again.
I think he will. And I think he's
not numbers wise. Just get on the field. Stay on the field.
And I think if he stays on the field,
one trade I would make though.
What?
I call up the Nationals and I say, Judge, obviously you're going to give up more. But what the hell? How much more could you possibly give up if you're to get Juan Soto, right? If you offer,
He might win MVP, so it's going to be steep.
Win MVP? He's going to win multiple MVPs.
No, I'm saying this
he's
year
the best player in the National League. Tatis is close,
yeah,
but Juan Soto's the best player in the National League, and he's 22 years old, and he's already won a World Series.
Yeah, the price is going to be very steep for a guy who's durable, has the lowest chase rate in baseball, hits 300.
Charlie gets to see him every game. So
yeah, it's going to be next to impossible to get.
Charlie
Slows. We interviewed him back in May
voice
last
of
year. He's the radio broadcaster of the Nationals. He was fantastic.
Yes, and I have to call him. I was supposed to call him to finish our conversation. We haven't had a chance to talk. It's been such a crazy couple of weeks for me.
Cool.
But why don't we get into week 10 of the season? And I mean, there was so much that happened, and even Jeff said it when we talked about what the Patriots are doing right now in the AFC East, and really the stir up of what this Buffalo Bills team is. I don't know what Buffalo team we're going to get every single week, what Josh Allen we're going to get every single week. And if you were a Buffalo Bills fan, guys, I'd be very worried.
The Bills it's weird. They're kind of like the Dodgers in baseball this year, where they were just so dominant in certain areas. They're number one in a lot of categories, defensively, offensively, very talented, as we know. I don't think they're as high a talent level overall as the Dodgers in baseball, but what they're struggling in is losing these tight games. When the Titans game was close, 34-31, they lost, but they'll blow out teams like the Chiefs, and they'll blow out these other opponents to make it look better than not that it is, because they are very talented, but when the game is a lot closer, even the Steelers game at the beginning of the season, there's no reason they should have lost that game. That's the one thing that concerns me come playoff time, as talented and well-rounded as they are, because they really don't have any
well-rounded.
They don't really have any significant flaws like they did last year.
Are you well-rounded?
No.
How about you, Tyler? Are you well-rounded?
I would say so.
How rounded would you be?
I'm probably a full 360.
360 rounded. Wow, that's really round.
Yes. You can't get rounded.
Is it big or a little bit on the miniature side?
Slightly above average.
It's above average. So does it work for you, or
it works?
You
it
sure?
Works well enough.
You sure? Because I heard you're not very rounded.
By who?
By a lot of different people. And
I don't
Speedy actually told me the other day that he doesn't think you're rounded either.
Is this true?
I have no
Speedy?
idea what he's talking about.
Kyle,
Yeah,
is
it's
this true?
I have no idea what he's
It's
talking about.
Speedy to you.
No,
Errol likes to make things up that I said.
He really doesn't think that you're very rounded in any kind of way, So I just want you to
It's
know.
gonna be a long ride home for you.
Yes, it is.
You might as well just get on the roof. Or start walking now. Either way.
I think walking would be a very, very good thing for him. So
How would I be able to?
you can take his bag,
How would I
I'm
be?
not gonna take his bag.
Why would I?
All
Would
right.
I give him my bag?
All right. So we look at the NFC East, and to me, I think the Jets are going to be sitting where they are right now. I don't see the Jets beating Miami this week. I think Miami has Tua's back, right? Tua's going to be playing in this game. I am not going to bet on Joe Flacco to come in there and win a game for the Jets, and it would be very stupid for the Jets to win.
It would be the very Jet thing to win, though.
I can see it too. It's weird. Joe
It is
Flacco
the
be
Jet
the
thing.
random,
And to
the
be
new
honest
Mike
with you-
White, and then they'll get rave on him, and then all of a sudden
Listen to this.
have a bad game.
Not only might they beat Miami, they are going to go into Houston and win that football game too.
Okay, that's not saying much.
But I'm just saying.
I
that
don't
puts
think
them
they
at
beat
4
Houston.
wins.
I don't think they beat Houston. I don't.
No, they're definitely winning the game in Houston.
I don't think
The
they
only
beat
question
Houston.
is, will you win in Miami?
If
Against
Zach
Miami.
Wilson plays, they beat Houston. If Zach Wilson don't play, they're not winning. They're not winning.
You're definitely going to be Houston.
I'm telling you right now, if Zach Wilson doesn't play and it's Joe Flacco, Houston wins. If Wilson plays, if Zach Wilson comes back in that game and plays, then I'd say there's a good chance they beat Houston.
That's a good way to ease him back too into if he is. 100%
That's probably what they're
healthy.
going to do.
If he is 100% healthy, we will see if that's the case because obviously he's not playing this week. But
They're
that is a good game to ease him.
Why
back,
would they
though.
play him against Miami the way Miami played last week?
Right. And again, if he's not 100% healthy, don't do it yet. So.
I mean, Miami will kill him. Okay. I mean, the way they played last week.
Right. And they're a very blitz happy team.
High-flying
so-
team
Yeah.
that could get at the quarterback. I mean, he's going to be running for dear life.
Right.
I'd rather Joe Flacco run for dear life, if you ask me. And then Mike White, because everybody thought he was the next thing since the Messiah. Oh, Jesus Christ himself was going to come out from the ground with Tom Brady, Jr. coming out.
You'll be funny. Joe Flacco plays well enough to beat the Dolphins, and all the Ravens fans want him back.
Oh. I mean, soon we'll be talking about the NFL draft because it's right around the corner. It's very soon, and the playoffs are really, 6-7 weeks away? I mean, 6 weeks away.
We are a little more than halfway through the season.
It really, it's crazy. Football's almost over. And honestly, this
for
week,
you, it's a good thing.
well, I'm not really worried about it. As a Jet fan, you expected it not to be a winning season for them. I expect next year to be the season where I expect this team to really give you the turnaround, and hopefully the health can keep them where they could have the turnaround season that we wanted to see, and maybe be a borderline playoff team. That's what we want to see as a Jet fan. If they're a borderline playoff team every year, they get into the playoffs, they make noise in the playoffs, maybe win a game, and slide around. Maybe it's a future is good and for future as well for this team of growth with some of the young players they have. But Tampa has not looked good for the last 2 weeks.
No,
they haven't. And
It's a get right game Monday.
it's a great. What happens if it's a get wrong game and Tampa loses that
You
game?
hit the panic button.
Well, first of all, the Giants actually match up very well against them, and I think the Giants will be in the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. I really do. I think it's in Tampa, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure.
No, it is.
Yeah, I know they played at MetLife last year, so it probably is.
Yes, and I think.
But the Giants did play them close. Ironically, Monday Night Football around the same time in the season. Errol and I were at Applebee's with his friend, the cursed Jets fan, Eric Martini. We were and
they ran the ball very.
We
well.
were actually very impressed with how the Giants played. They almost won that game. You thought they got screwed on the 2-point conversion call. I remember that.
Yes.
And yeah, they would have tied the game at that point.
I think the Giants would have won the game if it went into went to overtime. I really do. The defense was playing great. They were getting at the quarterback. And by the way, the guy that was crushing that defensive line, which I expect is ex-Jet, Mr. Williams. I want to see him get out. I want to see him get out.
Yeah, do better than 2 good games a year, please.
Yeah. He played very well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers about a year and a half ago. So that's what we want to see. I want to see this team actually play hard and play shockingly special for the organization to really say, you know what, maybe Gettleman isn't going to be fired. Maybe if we give him another year to try to rebuild this team and go after the players that he wants in free agency, he can turn this thing around. I don't know.
Granted, not nearly as good of a team as they were at this time, but Daniel Jones' great debut also was against the Buccaneers.
And the return of Aaron B. Bad Rodgers. Well, he came back last week, but
he did.
I think this is the return of Aaron Rodgers this week. What I mean by return, 330 yards, 4 touchdowns. He'll be back because I didn't expect him to go and throw the hell out of the ball after missing a week. That's not what he does. He needs to get, tempo and everything like that. I believe. And who are they playing this week?
Minnesota. They're at Minnesota.
Yeah, this is a big game.
A big game for both teams in this one. And the yardage total was good last week for the Packers for Aaron Rodgers, but he didn't have any touchdowns. He had the 1 interception in the red zone, which was a bad throw, a bad decision to do that. But
schedule gets hard. I mean,
their schedule's naturally it was like that.
Vikings, Rams, Bears.
They got the whole NFC West, the AFC North still. I think they got to play the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens still, and
they'll be Cleveland. I'm not worried about it.
So
Cleveland's done.
They got a lot of. They're going
to be talking. Did you hear about the Baker Mayfield thing? Anybody listening to that? There's stories coming out that Baker Mayfield isn't the future of this team and this organization.
Wow. Oh, here we go.
That's your boy.
Here we go.
You didn't hear that?
Here we go. All the Johnny B. Goods are going to make a story now. Come on.
No, I'm just saying that there's a story coming out on Baker Mayfield right now that he isn't the future.
Well.
Interesting. Going back to the Packers, though, they still got a lot of yardage though in that game, 292 yards, and they just didn't have the touchdowns.
Mock draft: Browns find Baker Mayfield's replacement as third best quarterback on the thing for Pitt. That's what they think.
Pickett. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They think that he's the next. He's going to take over for Baker Mayfield. That's who they're going to draft. That's what they think.
Very interesting.
It's going to and. On this board, they have Evan Neal going to the Jets at number 3. Interesting.
Fair. Yeah, and that's what the Jets definitely could do, especially with the injuries that Becton suffered so far. They probably have to consider, all right, we need much more of a more durable
number
guy.
7, N'Kobe Dean would go to the Jets. This is the draft board over here. Who's N'Kobe Dean? Is he good?
That's the DT.
The linebacker on Georgia.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Where's
that early?
He's the Georgia guy.
Yeah, he's good, but I don't know about that early. I've heard when you said Kobe, I was thinking the corner from Cincinnati at first, and I was like, no. Yeah, he's a pretty good player. I don't know if with the Jets having the pass rush needs, I don't know if I would go after an inside linebacker first because they still have Mosley. Obviously Georgia is star driven in the front, so they're going to have those guys.
I would
go
draft
early.
Neal, and if you go at 7 and somehow Stingley falls to you,
if Stingley falls, that'd be amazing.
You get Stingley and Neal.
I think Stingley will end up an Eagle though.
Stingley and that would be fantastic.
If the Eagles have Miami's pick and it's that high, I feel like Stingley's going to be.
They're saying at number 6, the Giants are going to draft Ikwano, the offensive tackle from NC State.
Oh. That high?
This is just a.
It's one mock draft.
Yeah, it's a mock draft.
That's it'll change throughout the year too. I'm surprised they have a lot of those guys that high ranked in the top 10 because most of the top 10 guys were supposed to be the 3 pass rushers before Anderson obviously got the charges against him, and I believe he just had his court case recently. So we'll see how that goes. The kid from Michigan and Hutchinson, and then obviously Kayvon Thibodeau, who everyone expects to go number 1. Also offensive line.
He's going 1.
And then Stingley, like you mentioned,
unless somebody trades up for a position that is needed, he's going 1.
And there's a couple receivers too that could go in the first round as well. So I'm surprised that he would be ranked that high. I wouldn't mind an offensive lineman, but I feel like they would if it's not Neal, which he probably won't be there if the Giants are picking at 6. Then wait for the Chicago pick for that.
I mean, if you can get 2 top 10 picks, you got to make them really, really good.
Yeah, if I'm the Giants, I would definitely go pass rush.
If I were the Jets at number 7, I trade out of that Seattle pick.
Yeah, you could look at that too. Yeah, sure.
Try to get more. Sure. Get a first round next year and get Minnesota's 19th pick or 18th pick this year, and then you set yourself even better next year. So you get 2 first rounds this year and 2 first rounds next year. That's how you build a team.
Jeff says Thibodeau may not go 1. Yes, it's the Lions. There's always a chance the Lions screw up and don't draft him. but you never know. But they've actually been a little better drafting wise in recent years. Still not a great team.
If he doesn't go one, he goes two. I mean, I don't think two teams are going to pass up before the Jets. I mean,
yeah. So it'd be right now it's them and then Jacksonville. Well, Jacksonville could screw up too. Wouldn't rule it out.
No, Jacksonville will draft him. It's Houston. It would be Houston at number 2. It would be.
Oh, that's right. So, all right. So Jacksonville's 3. Yeah, Houston will probably take him then.
Yeah,
Speaking of Jeff, here he is.
Jeff, what's going on, bud?
I mean, you guys got to realize when you do this kind of thing that, like the best player doesn't always go.
We know that.
Almost never goes number
Jeff,
1.
I just said the Lions still might screw up.
No, but we more than likely that guy's going 1. Okay, there have to be a catastrophical mistake where.
I mean, you could make a case for
Stingley,
3 or 4 guys that could go in that.
Yes, but I almost every single board they're saying this kid. So
right, because he's the best. He's the best prospect.
Right.
I would say that because there's warts on him too. He's got a pretty bad pec injury or arm injury or shoulder injury. I don't know what injury that is.
He's playing hurt a lot this year.
Yeah, that's not good.
The good thing is, I guess most of these injuries are minor. It's nothing drastic, but yeah, you wonder how much that could linger.
And again, if you look at history, right? Like if you look at draft boards and you look at history, the safest pick out there is a guy that's rated top 3 in the draft. It's the safest position. They usually have a good hit rate on contracts and get a second contract. Mario Edwards or Williams or whatever his name was, the defensive end, he wasn't very good when he got drafted 1 by Houston.
Everyone was shocked. Yeah.
Right. So, they could go the safe number 1 route and take Evan Neal. They need offensive line. That would be a smart pick to make.
Sure. I agree with you, but I think it would be freakish if this kid doesn't go 1. And if he doesn't go 1, he'll go 2. I don't think he falls to the Jets. He goes either 1 or 2.
But if you're the Lions, right? You got to look at it through that lens if you're the Lions, because look at what the Jets just did. It may not have been number 1 or something like that, but they draft Mekhi Becton, and that could be their Penei Sewell. And then they came right back with Elijah Verataka, and that could be Evan Neal, because that's where games are won, in the trenches.
That's true. No question. And I think that if Neal's sitting there at 3, that's where the Jets will go. I do believe that. Because it just doesn't make sense. Now, they could get Stingley, and a lot of people think that they can really solidify their corner, the next big corner, the Ramsey, or the, you could call him Revis, another, they can call him Stingy Island or Stingley Island, whatever the hell they call him. But honestly, Evan Neal, I think if he falls to the Jets, 6'7", 350-pound offensive lineman, you put him on the other side of that.
The size of that line would be insane.
I mean, the size of that line is scary. I mean, that would be something I think would be very smart if I were the Jets. And we talked about that. But it's crazy when you look at this regular season and how the board is starting to fall, Jeff. And we're talking about draft picks already because the season's almost over. Are you surprised with anything? I know we know about your New England Patriots. Are you surprised at where any of these teams are right now? Going that we're right now in really square in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I don't think anything really is a surprise this year. I think the only thing that is more of a surprise is the amount of parity with, like, Washington shouldn't be beating Tampa, right? Like that should, like, the Jacksonville shouldn't be beating Buffalo. That shouldn't happen, right? Detroit shouldn't almost be beating Pittsburgh.
Hey, they have to be the first 16-1 team in NFL history.
I mean, I get it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think every year is kind of unique, but I don't think that there's a dominant team this year. I don't think that there's one team that you can look at and go, wow, they're really going to go far this year.
I agree with you.
Yeah, every team's either flawed somewhere or injured in a key spot where, like the Titans with Derrick Henry.
Every team is flawed somewhere.
Every team has a loss or two that you're going to look at and go, how'd they lose that game? How did that team lose that game?
I would agree with you. I mean, there were after watching Tampa lose against Washington this week, and listen, when we all know when Aaron Rodgers is in the lineup, they're not going to lose. But if you're telling me that one player can completely change the scenery of your team, and you can't go out there without him to make a throw, make a pass that can win a game, a winnable game against a team that really hasn't won consistently the last couple of weeks. You have to find a way to win that game. And that's why I don't know if Green Bay can make that play. Let's say if Aaron gets hurt in the fourth quarter and you need to make a play to win the game because he might be out for the rest of the fourth quarter. I don't know if they win. And that's if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, if you're even an Arizona Cardinal fan, let's be honest. Kyler Murray can't stay healthy. He's a fantastic talent. But the guy last year, second half, didn't stay healthy. This year, first half, he hasn't stayed healthy. And I think throughout the second half of the season, he's going to be limping and grinding to try to get through the season because of the way he puts himself at risk. So, and the Rams, I don't think you have anything to worry about if you're a Rams fan. They didn't look good this past week. They didn't. But I think this team is too talented to say, hey, you know what? This team's just going to completely fall apart and shit the bed in the playoffs. I don't think that this team is that bad or played as bad as they did last week.
Bye week came at a great time for them.
Yeah, so
I mean, being a fan of the Patriots, I've watched the Patriots and like championship teams enough to know that good teams beat the teams that you should beat, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's like the common thread all the championship teams have had. And I can't look at any of these teams that are playing football right now at this point and go, oh, they're all beating the teams that they should do, which is what good teams do. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way Buffalo should be losing to Jackson.
No,
and laying that egg.
No, nope.
That's not what good teams do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where if they had lost to Cincinnati, you can go, well, I can see that Cincinnati's got a pretty good offense, and you know they might not be where we thought they would be, but they're still pretty good. No one's saying that about Jackson.
You wonder if this year too, I think there's a trend with a lot of coaches overthinking certain game plans too, and trying to manage players with the amount of injuries that have already been hit on a lot of superstar players in this particular year, especially with the running backs, but also even with some of the quarterbacks. You mentioned Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers wasn't hurt, but a lot of these guys that have been top players that are either playing hurt or being load managed because they just have had trouble. Look at the Titans receivers at the beginning of the season. AJ Brown wasn't playing 100% or he wasn't playing at all. Now Julio Jones is on IR. So there's a lot of these bigger names that maybe are being managed where they're either overcoming it and like teams are playing down to them because of that and they're getting surprise wins like the Titans did against the Rams, or they're playing with them in and they're losing. Like it's all weird circumstances. And you wonder if that has to do with a lot of these coaching approaches that we've seen this year. They're either trusting their talent too much or they're playing, or if you're the opponent, you're playing down to a team.
Well, the other thing to that point to exasperate that would be look at the teams that have signed big name guys like the Titans. They bring in Julio Jones and they put all their eggs in one basket. And then that guy gets hurt. And then they didn't have a contingency plan. Their bench is trash, right? The salary cap has hampered them. They don't have guys that can come in and play football, and they're terrible, right? Like that's just what's happening. Where you know the middling teams, like I hate to say it, but the Patriots, they loaded up with just a bunch of bums for the most part. Right? Like no one was clamoring for Kendrick Bourne or Nelson Aguilar.
I thought they overpaid both of them.
But they signed like 6 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when a guy goes down, they have another guy off the bench. The Titans don't have that.
Yeah, it's just in certain instances though, they've overcame it though, and they still won anyway. That's what I'm saying. Like these unexpected type things, like the same thing with the Packers and the Cardinals. The Packers had all these receivers out with COVID. They beat the Cardinals, and then the Cardinals have all these injuries, and they beat the 49ers. So it's kind of, it seems like a lot of these coaches are downplaying it more than ever this year.
But the injuries caught up with the Cardinals last week.
Yep. Sure. But I'm just saying, like in a reverse scenario, the Cardinals, you would think, okay, they'll beat the Packers and when they're hurt, they'll lose to the 49ers. No, the other way around.
I mean, it's the same thing with the Rams, right? Like the Rams tried to go and get insurance. We all thought that they got better. I don't think that they're a better football team right now. It's a lateral move getting Odell Beckham. Turns out getting Odell Beckham was a necessity because they lost Robert Woods.
Sure. And it turns out to be that way. And who knows? Maybe they knew that Robert Woods wasn't 100% healthy, and they had to make this trade. So Maybe you're right, but maybe it benefits the opportunity to see what kind of weapon Odell Beckham could be in that offense with Matthew Stafford. So far, it hasn't looked good, and Matthew Stafford looks like he's just like Baker Mayfield throwing the ball.
Yeah, but you got to be fair as well.
Yes.
He was there for 3 days before. I mean, how many plays do you get? Like he had his, 15 or 20 snaps or whatever he had, right? But certainly he doesn't know the whole route tree.
Sure.
I mean, you're not going to learn that in 3 days.
Plus, very complicated offense. And also, Robert Woods got hurt on Friday. It's not like Robert Woods got hurt last week. He was he got hurt in a game out for the season, and the Rams signed Odell as or traded for Odell as that he's replacing him directly move and they could prepare. No, he got hurt on Friday, and all of a sudden it hindered the game plan for that. And also Odell is a different type of receiver where it comes to his strengths and weaknesses than Woods is. And also as a result, I think Odell being in that role or Odell being used in that role, usually that's better than what Cooper Kupp's been in. Obviously Kupp's been a lot better this year, but that's normally what he is. What Odell is at his peak. And Kupp now has to be used in those kinds of roles too. So he was being used more as the short catch after the catch type guy that we usually see Robert Woods in, whereas Kupp was expanding down the field finally this year and having the great season that he's having.
I mean, maybe the Patriots model is like the new model people are going to start trying to copy, right? Where maybe we don't pay an Amari Cooper $18, $19 million a year. Maybe we go and get 2 Nelson Aguilars for $12 a year.
Well, that's usually been how teams win anyway. I don't remember the last team that won a Super Bowl with one great receiver and then a significant drop off. But
that's kind of what everyone's done right now.
But I think that trend has been in existence for a while. Whether it's been highlighted as much is a different question. But obviously the Buccaneers had great receiving depth, so they won a Super Bowl last year. But even teams when the Giants won,
and the Bucs are infinitely hurt.
Well, sure, but I'm just saying
it's Godwin, it's OJ Howard, it's Gronk, it's now Leonard Fournette. Dude, that team's not repeating.
No, I know. But nevertheless, I think the trend's been going on for a while where you have a case where a team has a huge number one target and then it's a big drop off of the line, like the Texans with Andre Johnson. Who was their number 2 after that? You don't even remember. The Bengals the first couple of years with AJ Green. They got later on Marvin Jones and guys like that, but it was AJ Green and then who else? Teams like that usually don't win. It's not a recipe for success.
But you're naming bad teams. We're talking about
the Bengals at that time were not a bad team. They were loaded in other areas.
They still don't win a playoff game. They're a bad team.
Okay, that's mental. That's not talent driven.
Right, but this is the thing though, is I think the difference is you're talking about a team that like the Titans who had a guy in AJ Brown, right? And they let a decent guy walk in Corey Davis, but they went all in and went for Julio Jones. Right, that's what they did. They, more teams are going all in now and trying to bring in that extra big name dude. Sure,
I just think that philosophy, the one receiver philosophy, still is that you're going to have a tough time. Even looking at a team like the Bills, we were talking about earlier with Josh Allen. He's been great in certain games, but if they take out Stephon Diggs or let Stephon Diggs have his and then contain everybody else, he's had a tough time this year. Now, granted, some of it's the offensive line too, but that's been a big problem.
Every team is trying to do it. Look at the Odell Beckham sweepstakes. The Chiefs were in on that. How many balls is Odell Beckham going to get thrown to him going to the Chiefs? They already have Hill and Kelsey. How many balls was
they have Hill and Kelsey, but they're another team too. And we had Doug Kite on the show a couple of weeks ago from Pro Football Focus, who was actually saying the Chiefs' number 2 receiver problem is bigger than we ever thought it would be.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't be that big, but
it shouldn't, but it is
ridiculously bad.
Yeah, he's turning into the I can stay healthy but still drop the ball speed demon of John Ross.
Right, but this is what teams are doing. More and more, you're seeing teams try to go all in.
Carl says don't sleep on TJ Hushmanzada. Hushmanzada was not on that team. I'm talking about 2011 through 13 when AJ Green's first 3 years in the league when he was great and their next best receivers weren't anything special. It was like Brandon Tate and someone else. I don't even remember.
But I mean, that's the problem I think that you're seeing right now is the teams that have gone all in have all suffered devastating injuries. Okay, Julio Jones and AJ Brown work. If Derrick Henry's healthy, but now that that's your only option is to throw the ball and your quarterback is Ryan Tannehill, you're pretty screwed.
I think they're in a lot of trouble. They were my team with Derrick Henry in the lineup. They were my team to go to the Super Bowl. I can't say they're going to the Super Bowl now. I can't trust it. And we saw what happened this week. If they can't run the ball, they're having problems. Even though they were in the game all week.
They've been very good amidst that, but yeah, will it win the playoffs is another question.
I don't think it will.
Right, but they played a Saints team that had Trevor Siemian as their quarterback. That's not good.
You're absolutely right. And I think it's going to be a big problem as the season progresses. They have a great record right now, but a lot of that record had a lot to do with their running game and their running game that doesn't exist anymore.
Wait till the Titans start playing teams with competent quarterbacks. Because no offense to the Saints or their fans, Trevor Siemian ain't it.
Now, again, luckily they've played a lot of those already, but again, will it matter for the playoffs is another question because they're done with the NFC West already. They're done with the Buffalo Bills. They already beat the Bills. I forget who they play in this. Oh, they play the Steelers, so they could probably beat the Steelers. So a lot of
who's been very quiet in this whole segment. Tyler, aka Mothball Harrison.
Yeah, he hasn't chimed in since Baker.
I mean, once Baker was brought up, he was silent. He was lost in translation. What were you doing over there?
I'm trying to orchestrate a ripoff right now.
A ripoff for what?
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal, what? What are you talking about?
I'm trying to get Bradley Beal on my fantasy team.
You're trying to get him on your fantasy team.
Yes.
Yes. So, as we've been talking about,
you guys were killing the segment, so I figured,
killing the segment. What was wrong with that segment?
No, I meant in a good way.
Yeah. So what are your
thoughts? The weapon of choice?
Yeah. What was your thoughts to what obviously Jeff was saying?
I mean, I think everything you guys said is pretty much right. The only thing I would say is Tampa Bay is going to get right. That's really the only thing I could see. Now, are they going to repeat that? That remains.
Can't get it right if they can't get healthy.
Well, right, but I mean, unfortunately, health's kind of that unspoken factor of winning Super Bowls. And I think they will get healthy. I think they're going to be in the NFC Championship game. I don't think that's a stretch.
I don't think they are because I don't think they're getting healthy. They've played too much football. They played longer than any other team last year.
Yeah.
Right? And now they're going to play the longest season this year and the longest playoffs because they're not getting a bye.
They might get a bye.
No, they're not getting a bye. They're not going to
Green Bay. It's Green Bay, and then whoever comes out of the West probably.
And the Cardinals, right? It's either Cardinals, Rams, or Green Bay is right. They're going to end up with the bye, so they're going to have a long playoff run, just like they did last year. Right? They're not getting healthy.
Rams have head-to-head on them too. If that comes down,
they're not going to get healthy.
There's just so much with this off the regular season how these teams could be set up for the playoffs. I think there's a lot of arguments.
Well, this is where
a lot of these teams could be in the next couple of weeks
before we all go home.
Mm-hmm.
As Jeff said, they have 8 more games to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a couple of cherries here. Obviously, they get the Giants on Monday night, but you need to win that. Then you go on the road. You play the Colts, the Falcons. You get a beat down against the Bills. That's gonna be a great football game. Then you get the Saints, 2 games against the Panthers and the Jets. Do we sit the Bradys, the Fournettes, the Evanses of the world against the Jets, the Falcons?
No, we don't.
Depends on where they are.
They're winning the division, even if they sit these games.
But how far ahead do you think they're going to be, though?
They are pretty far ahead.
You have to factor in, though.
I think what Tyler is really kind of getting to is bringing up the age-old debate, right? Rest versus rust, because those guys are going to be out right now. Gronk is missing time. Godwin's missing time. Fournette's missing time. Like, those guys are going to miss time. So by the time that they come back, you're going to sit them again. So then they're going to be out for 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, and then you expect them to just bounce right back into playoff speed. I don't think that. I don't think that that's right.
Yeah, you're mentioning like 3 games too. Like if they rest, I'm not saying everybody all at once, but let's say they rest. Let's say Evans 1 game.
This is the last 3 games of their season. Okay. Carolina, Jets, Carolina. I don't remember.
Well, they wouldn't play the Jets twice. It'd be Carolina twice.
The other problem with that strategy is someone has to play the football game.
They get the home in the way. So even if you go Carolina, New York home, wouldn't you say that Jet game is a bye? No disrespect to the Jets, so please don't take it that way.
I don't care.
But would you
Not really, because you don't know what the Jets are going to try to do to hurt the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving
And
forward.
let's be honest, you don't think there's a couple Jets on that team that want to take a shot at Tom Brady?
Oh, sure.
So why would you play Tom Brady against the Jets? Why would you even try? You're going to try to win the game regardless,
because
right?
someone has to play that football game too. You don't have 200 guys on a football team where you can just say, "Oh, we're playing all."
There's the offensive line's got to start, and then I would start the secondary because they were banged up all year. And Devin White because he's young. But Levante David, if he's ready, I'd sit him and try to get him as healthy as possible. I'm trying to think.
I get it, but
Gronk,
sitting
I'd
guys
sit.
1 week doesn't make up for a whole season worth of hitting, though. It doesn't.
No, I get that. But if you give him 1 week as a bye, he takes the team travel and then he practices. He's not as rusty. He's not going to be as beat up. And then for the playoffs, if you know you're not going to get that bye, he's got a little bit more longevity.
Well, sure.
On his
That's what you have to figure out at that point. Are you going to be I don't think they're going to care if they're a 2 seed or a 3 or a 3 seed versus a 4. Or something
you're going to get a playoff
that's,
game and then
that's
go on the road.
understandable, right? I agree with you in that case. It's just you might not know that at that point, and also it's 3 games. Can you plan that?
Well, both games against Carolina, you're competing to win the game because you're either going to try to take the division from them or stop them from winning the division, regardless how that breaks down. So you're going to try for those 2 games. My thinking is the Jets a lollipop. The Jet game is an easy game.
Okay. So
even if you lose to the Jets, by far the 2 most important games are those 2 Carolina games at the end of the year.
Here's the other
Well,
thing.
now that they have Cam Newton, even though I don't think Cam Newton's what they think he is.
Cam looked good.
He looked good in 1 game. When teams figure him out now that
What do
they
you
have a
mean
whole
figure
game.
him out? He's Cam Newton, whether he's in Carolina,
not in that
if he's in New
offense.
England.
Not in that offense. It's a different offense. Now he's playing in it. Now they have a whole
Cam Newton
whole
might save
second
Matt
half
Rule's
they can
career.
watch. They have a whole second half to watch Cam Newton play in the 4th quarter. I'm telling you right now, teams are going to figure him out. Once they do and make Cam Newton do things that he's not good at in an offense that he's not really known to play
he's
in.
not an MVP.
He's not the same player
7 years ago, 6 years ago.
I mean, the other problem with that strategy is they're also going to be fighting for, home field for at least 2 weeks, right? Like they'll get, Tampa's probably going to get 1 home game to start the thing, but then you don't want to just go right in on the road. So they're going to want to play those games and win those games anyway.
Right. The 2 versus 3.
For that.
Yeah, the 2
They're
versus
actually
3.
left right
They might differentiate with, depending on where it ends up being with Green Bay and Arizona or the Rams, whoever ends up being there, and Dallas too. If they stay this hot, I mean, they might not either. But it depends. But yeah, 2 versus 3 could be a difference though, and an incentive for that, and also depend on where these other teams are. Because obviously, I don't think the Saints or the Panthers are going to catch them. But if they hang tough, it's going to force them to still play those starters at least for a little bit. And that's the dilemma you have in terms of deciphering these matches. Because remember, the Panthers, even though they lost both games, they played them close last year, and that was with a lot of injuries too.
It's going to be interesting, and I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to really know how the NFC is going to really be wounded up and, set up for the playoffs. And really the AFC, I think we're not going to know until the end of the year.
Yeah, you're breaking a lot of 5 and 4s in the AFC North and West.
I don't think we will know who's going to make the playoffs until the last week of the AFC. I think a lot of things could fall into certain teams' fit places, and teams could sneak in, and then it'll go all the way to the Super Bowl. I could see that happening. This is how football is.
I think that AFC is easier to protect than the NFC.
No, I don't think so.
In terms of what? Right. In terms of
the
what?
Buffalo Bills are coming out of the AFC.
I wouldn't say that either. No,
they're the most complete team. There's not another team in the AFC that's top 3.
Ravens when
the Ravens are good.
The Ravens
Patriots.
The Patriots are good.
The Ravens can't stop the air.
Kansas City will be over there. Los Angeles will be over there. I mean, these teams are going to get hot.
The Ravens are still. The Ravens are still talented, though, in the deficiencies they have. So you can't rule that out of it. Just because they lost Marcus Peters for the
Josh
year and
Allen
they've had trouble with big
in
plays.
9 games this year put up 3 duds. 3 duds. Now, how do we know
Jackson's put up 3 duds?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Lamar Jackson's defense took over the game when he put up those duds. Josh Allen's defense didn't put up the game when we threw up those duds.
They lost the Jaguars 9-6.
Yes.
That defense is the only reason they were in that game, right?
Well, who outplayed that defense?
The Jaguars have talent on defense.
Oh, give me a break.
That Jaguar team has talent on defense.
The Steelers mop them up week 1.
Because of a muffed punt. So with that taken out, the Bills win that game.
Which, by the way, you're still throwing up duds on offense, by the way, because it's a dud in Jacksonville, and now it's a dud in Pittsburgh.
Well, no, but my point is, to Errol, he said the Ravens' defense carried him. The Bills' defense is the best in football. So if you're going to rely on a defense, I'm taking the best defense in football.
Dude, you could go back and try to argue your points. Honestly, they laid off duds.
It's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the Patriots throw up a dud yet. They may have lost more football games, but they were competitive against Tampa. They were competitive against Dallas. They were competitive against...
I've never bashed New England. I'm not going to start now. The Patriots could be the scariest sleeper in the playoffs in the whole NFL. The only thing I would hold against the Patriots...
it's kissy time.
No, it's not. What do you mean?
The only thing he's holding against the Patriots.
The only thing I'm holding against the Patriots is Mac Jones is a rookie. It's very hard for a rookie quarterback in the playoffs to have
Not
success.
if you have a good running game and you have a good front seven that can start
and Damian Harris is hot and cold every week.
Yeah, well, that's
Actually, he didn't play last week because he was out with concussion. So when you're saying hot and cold, he's either hot or not playing.
Yeah, it was Ramondre Stevens.
If you have a hot running game and you can play defense, you could get to the quarterback.
No, but he got hot.
Win.
He had a couple duds.
You can win the game. That's the only reason why they'll win.
And they're about to get healthy because while everyone's focusing on Nick Chubb didn't play, Kareem Hunt didn't play. Yeah,
they would have won anyway.
Jonnu Smith didn't play. Damian Harris didn't play. There was a bunch of Patriots that didn't play. Right, so the Patriots are getting healthy as well. And that offense
the injuries don't make up 45-7. They didn't lose close. They lost.
I said the Patriots were going to win that game.
Meanwhile, all Hunter Henry
Cleveland to win that game.
Meanwhile, all Hunter Henry does is catch touchdowns.
Literally.
Yeah.
He's not kidding. He'll have 3 catches and 1 touchdown every week.
So it's the great Mike Evans stat line of 2 catches for 2 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had 5 catches this week. 2 of them were tuds.
That first one was nice too.
I think he's got 7 touchdowns in his last 5 games.
Yep, he's been Mac Jones' favorite player to pass to, especially in the red zone.
And wait till Jonnu Smith gets
screwed all year.
And wait till Jonnu Smith gets back. It's going to be even crazier.
No,
and I get it. He's not throwing the ball down the field a ton, but that was an absolute dime he dropped to Kendrick Bourne for the touchdown.
Oh yeah,
into double coverage. So, listen, I have my reservations about Mac too, and the fact that he's a rookie. But there are 5 rookie quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round that are all starting now, right? There's been 5 games in which those rookies have a passer rating of 100 or better. They all belong to Mac Jones.
No, that's great and good. Maybe the Patriots got it right. I thought he was one of my guys and my top list. So we'll see what happens. Jeff, thank you for joining us.
What?
I
said thank you for joining us. Well, we'll get you tomorrow, man.
Yes, go Patriots.
Jeff from Tampa, guys.
I like the Patriots. I think the Patriots can make some noise.
We'll get them on tomorrow because we're going to make up picks.
No, I don't want anyone to think I'm bashing the Patriots. I didn't bash them.
No, Errol thought you were going to praise them.
You sound like you're going to praise them.
Because, honestly, the weakest part of their team is the fact that you don't really have anyone that can stretch
the weakest part of your team is the fact that you have a rookie quarterback. And I think when the pressure comes to him and he plays teams that could get at him, he will have problems throwing the ball. So, and if they can't run the ball, which the Patriots have, when they do run the ball, they run the ball well. If they don't run the ball, they're going to have problems offensively.
And this Stevenson kid that Belichick found out of nowhere, he's going to be a problem. He is James White 2.0.
He's a different type of running back than James White.
He's a pretty complete running back.
No,
Thank you, Carl, by the way.
No, he definitely looked good in that game, but I'm saying James White is
good all year.
Well, he's only played limitedly, but yeah.
That is it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow.
That's it?
Tomorrow, we will do our picks. Yeah, that's it. It's 12 o'clock.
You never leave at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, well, tomorrow is going to be a long show, and there's going to be a lot to talk about. We got the games, we got the picks, and we'll have a lot more football to talk about tomorrow. What did he do? No one to stretch the field. Did you miss Bourne's 75-yard touchdown catch against the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, almost won them the game. If they didn't.
Who said nobody has to stretch the field? Who said that?
I said they can't stretch the field because, typically speaking, they haven't opened up the Belichick playbook for Mac Jones yet. Yeah, they've.
I think the only problem they're going to have in the playoffs is the fact that they're going to have to trust that this rookie is going to make the throws and make the plays against a good defense that's going to get out.
He's
That's
done
it.
that already.
No,
I don't even fear that. I just fear the Yucks.
Playoffs is different. It's different in the
He's
playoffs.
played really good teams.
That's
already.
fine, but you're not doing it in the playoffs where the pressure is on you. That if you lose, you go home.
Well, you got a cold.
What?
Why do you sound like you have a cold?
I'm congested. That's what it is. I'm always congested, especially at this time. Anyways, we will be back tomorrow. We'll get into, obviously, all of football. Can Tyler stretch at all? Tyler, could you stretch at all? Could you stretch? I heard a crack. But
Me too.
I never stretch.
He does that all the time.
You know, how about you grab your ass and see if you could grab your
Speed's
melon?
dog here?
Yeah.
No, my dog is not here.
Oh, well, then no,
Grab
I'm
your
not
melon.
grabbing my ass.
Grab your melon. That's not the melon I'm talking about. Speedy, you know what melon I'm talking about?
Unfortunately, I do.
Would you grab his melon?
I'm not grabbing his melon.
I'll pay you.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, he's even willing to pay you grab his melon. I think this is a good sign.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yay, what?
You really want to walk home?
Yeah. Touch your toes, Tyler, Carl says. He touched his toes. You guys are too much. Anyways, Speedy dogs grab melons.
That's tough to do with paws, but okay.
You can't see his toes.
Tyler can't see his toes.
I had to bite my tongue just now. But yeah.
This is going to be interesting. Anyways, we'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned. Shout out to NHL.com's deputy managing editor, Adam Kimelman, for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And obviously, Jets Insider editor. He was great. Writer, Chris Nimbley. He was really good, too. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned. We'll do our picks. Got a lot of sports to talk about. Shout out to the fam. Shout out to the receded hairline of Tyler Harrison. Maybe we'll get a wig for you tomorrow to wear. What do you think?
Maybe we'll get a muzzle for you.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.